Get out of here.
It's about to be. Right.
Yes, we're at Rally 8's live.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, Derby Inc. Magazine, Smash Master, Derby Parts,
The Smash Empire National, June 7, 2014, in Cuba, New York.
and the Keystone National, a Bo Lockwood Motorsports production, July 19th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania.
This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast with DerbyTeam.tv on Finger Lakes Morning, coming to you live from Relier's 6th Annual Demolition Derby Banquet at the Owego Treadway Inn in downtown Owego. And now your host, Chris Marport.
Got to get this level thing straightened out. This is hissing our ear pretty bad. There we go. Let's give a camera to everybody so they can see us. We'll go ahead and we'll just cut to that. There we go. Hey, look at that. We got
Jim Beatty's
the names are out of order on the overlay, but that's okay. We'll
Decker, over under before Beatty's in a fight today.
Can you turn that camera for us a little bit? I think it got moved a little. But we got Brian Tompkins, Josh Decker sitting here at the table. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast coming to you live from the Owego Treadway Inn in Owego, New York. That looks fine. Thank you. Guys, welcome to the show. 6th annual banquet put on by the Relier family for the Northeast Derby community. And, boy, there's a couple people here, huh?
There's some great faces here, as always. You know, it's just some great guys. I've been laughing since I walked in the door.
You're always laughing.
I know. These guys crack me up.
Did you see Steve Bucknam's here? Steve Bucknam's here. We're going to be catching up with Mike Decker a little bit later on. I think we're going to be seeing, we should be seeing Steve Bucknam Sr. He's going to be sitting down with us for a few minutes.
I got to yell at Steve Bucknam Sr.
He kind of called you out last week, buddy. That was
to
rough.
tri-state area, actually. Thank you, Senior.
And we're also going to be catching up with, we're here for about 2 hours from 1 to 3. Looks like we're going to be catching up with a whole cast of characters. I don't even know for sure who else is going to be sitting down with us, but you never know what you're going to be getting into. Josh Decker still reeling from the 5th place showing at the Winter Slam presented by Napa and Garden City last week. You're still riding that. I saw you signing some autographs out there in the foyer.
Yeah. John King come right up to me, of course. John King.
Did you bring the trophy down today as your date? Or?
No.
You didn't bring the trophy?
I did not.
Really?
I thought that would be tacky. I didn't know.
I'm disappointed in you.
I didn't know that's what we wanted.
Of course we do.
Absolutely. Can you sit here at the table in front of us?
World-class, nationally recognized Josh Decker. I mean, we want to make sure that's seen and everybody knows about it.
I'm sick of hearing my name already today.
Well, guess what, buddy? You're in for a long night. Then.
I know. I got a long day, and I'm not feeling that well. I'm sure you could hear.
Yeah,
I don't
you
feel
sound
that
like
well.
you're under the weather. Under the weather. What happened there?
Nah, we just had I think it was that couple days, and I don't know. It could have been that de-icing fluids seeping in our plane the other day. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we give that adequate discussion about?
No, we almost died.
I mean,
we almost died on U.S. Airs.
Well, I wasn't nervous. I figured, it's going to be a hell of a ride till we stop.
I was really nervous.
The flight staff wasn't really too worried about it, but I told her, I said, when this goes down, make sure you hit something hard because I don't want to be flopping around afterwards.
I see our other co-host Ben Haas is here and has Mountain Dew in hand. So
he's feeling good.
He's happy today.
For Mountain Dew. Ben Haas will be probably sitting down with us. Austin Manshaki, he's hanging around. We'll probably be catching up with him. I know Crash wants to get some airtime, and I'm glad of it that he's here because I know Josh had a discussion to be on deck with him.
Oh yeah,
since as you alluded to, you got called out there.
Yeah. Well, he asked me. He saw a picture of mine and said, "Hey, could I share it with everybody on the East Coast?" Yeah, absolutely. I'd love you to. But then he followed to write, "Everybody better build extra, and all these states better stick together against Josh Decker." So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, at least he was honest.
Yeah.
There's no secret about who he was.
They're gonna need it. Mr. Relier says.
It's always good to have the champ Brett Relier walk by us and speak. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, and he put on his Sunday clothes, which is great. I appreciate that. Dressing nice tonight.
Pretty sure he's going to church. He's going to go to the afternoon sermon today.
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Did you see Sean Gokenauer's here?
I've been talking to Sean, actually. I see you got here last night, actually.
Yep. And
Mike Tucker. Yeah, everyone sees you. The Slam Man.
Isn't that your uncle? Hasn't he taught you everything you know about Derbian?
Grandfather.
Oh, grandfather. Even better. Grandfather.
that's what I was told once before, that that's your grandfather, which I'm sure that made both of you feel great about.
No, of course, he's a old school dent runner there.
Old school. He's done some running, some winning.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's no Josh Decker, but
he's cool. He's better. Actually.
He was all right in the day.
Do you count yourself lucky to be able to be in the same circles as Josh Decker?
Well, hopefully, like, people like connect us, and like the rest of my life think that we're related somehow. You know, because it just boosts me.
Or they're going to think you're that good, and they're going to send like 8 guys after you at every show. One of the two.
Nothing I'm not used to already.
So how did you feel about Minnesota? I mean, do you have fun out there?
No, I loved it, actually.
Would you want to go back?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, how about August 16th?
That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick here. Yeah, sure, whatever you say. I'm following what you're saying.
It's about 90 minutes north of Minneapolis. We've been invited out there. They're putting on a 20-team derby out there.
Wow.
It's a new show. Darren Agard, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He was at Winter Slam. He saw us, and he really enjoyed it, and wants to have us out there. Wants us to come out, do a pre-show, post-show, and also to tape it and produce the event DVD. So
nice.
It's something. He's going back to the fair board this week to talk about it.
Teams of 2, 3, or 4.
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
I'd love to
it's
see
really
20
early
teams of
stages.
4.
It's early stages. He said that the record in their area for team heat is 1 minute and 34 seconds.
Ooh, quick.
Wow.
Quick.
So when he said that, I was like, well, it doesn't sound like battery life should be an issue.
No, and it won't be in the negatives.
No,
we'll be okay.
It won't be cold. So
now,
looking forward to.
Are they building a team for Mr. Decker, or
I'll talk to Jesse Keel about that. Come on, Jesse. Build me a car.
That was
the team event.
his name did come up when we were discussing it. That was actually how he prefaced the email that he sent to me. Was you'll know Jesse Keel? Yeah, I've heard of him once or twice.
Great guy.
So we were talking about that, and then some more stuff continues to evolve with Drive for 5, and which is in Antigua, Wisconsin.
Nice.
And help me out here, I'm blanking on it. T-Bone Invitational in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
There's 1st of May.
There's some more. Yeah, that's in May sometime. Yeah. As we move forward with some stuff with Derby Tees, we are proud to say that has been confirmed. We are going to be doing a pay-per-view at the Keystone Nationals. I believe Bo Lockwood's going to be here.
Nice. Cole's here today?
I believe he's going to be here. And then we're here with consideration from Smashed Empire Nationals, the Spring Derby, June 7th in Cuba. So kind of excited about that. Those guys are all set up over there. You see the big check hanging on the wall over there at their booth. You going to be going to that? Cuba?
I'm going to be going to watch.
You're going to be going to watch?
Yeah.
And you're watching. I mean, you don't have a choice, but you got to be there to watch. You're not going to miss that one.
I'm going there to watch.
I thought about putting a stock car together, to be honest with you.
Now, you've won that before. You won the stock division in 2011.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky with it. You remember the year? I don't even remember the year. That's awesome.
I remember the year. It was a black
Olds Cutlass. Yeah, it was. I got pretty lucky. I bagged that thing
Second
to death.
place.
Yes, you did.
I bagged it to death.
Second place, I think, was Chuck Chapman.
Yeah, and Chuck was beating the junk out of me. I love running against Chuck. He's got a smile on his face as he full tracks you every time. And I love running against Chuck.
Chuck was stuck against the wall. There was a year that it was real soft along the grandstand wall, and he got his left rear stuck down in the trench, dug a bit of a hole, and after that, it was just a matter of time. You waited him out more than anything.
And that's the only way I was going to win, was bagging it, because Chuck had way better car, way more car, and of course he's a great driver.
Your car, you taken a lot of abuse. I remember your car was whooped.
I was done.
Whooped.
I had no steering at the end.
It was whipped. You could have put the headlights back in it if you wanted to.
No, he'd absorbed a lot. He wasn't dishing a lot out, but he'd absorbed some good shots.
We all know I suck.
I mean, if you're on the track,
it looked like a Jake Doyle car.
Oh wow! If you're on the track with Chuck Chapman, at some point he's going to hit you from a long ways away.
Yeah,
and he'd done that to Josh a couple times that day. I remember. But
you know, Chuck is one of them guys that he could drive me out of my seat the whole derby,
and he'll shake your hand.
And he's awesome about it. It doesn't even make you mad, because it's like, well, he's a great guy, you know. So it's like whatever, you know. I mean,
yeah, Chuck is he's an old school guy, and nothing's personal. It's just derby.
Yeah,
he shakes everybody's hand at the end of the day.
And that's more what I enjoy it. that kind of derby. And
Absolutely.
we go junk each other, and then let's go have a beer real quick.
Did you do that last week in Minnesota?
Oh, man, I had a lot of beers.
Was there any beers after the... I just wondered.
I had so much fun there. You know, it was cool just because here today we were with so many guys here that we all know. But there we didn't know anybody.
And we still
but they took us in just
they
like,
did.
yeah, they just like we were here with all our friends. You know?
And it's funny. I've been talking to some of the guys.
And it made and now that Josh has come back home, it made him way more famous. He's much more of a big deal.
Not famous at all. Oh, Jesus.
I've been talking to some of the guys and girls from when we were out there, and I mean they're all just so great to us. I mean they treated us really well, and I quick got to apologize to Daniel Ort. It's Daniel, not Dan, apparently.
Dan, you don't like it when we call you Dan?
Yeah.
We called him Dan a couple times, and that was no good.
So we apologize, Daniel. Great show.
He wanted to be here.
Watching me right now.
Yeah.
Are you watching me, Daniel?
That was awesome.
That was probably one of the funniest things that come out of that whole trip.
What Josh is talking about is they're all lined up, and they're getting ready to go out, and we were standing there, and all of a sudden you heard somebody yelling, Decker! Decker! And Josh looks to his left, and Daniel, who we hadn't really met yet.
No, I didn't know
We met him
he
at the
was.
bar afterwards.
And he had his helmet on.
Yeah,
so
he goes, I'm watching you, and he gave him the two eyes, and then,
You know what was fun about that show, too, is the 10 minutes before we went out there, everyone's warming their cars up. I bet 20 guys come over to not say good luck out there. They said, we're coming to junk you.
Yeah.
It was like, everyone's coming to junk me.
Yeah.
It was a good feeling coming out there to that.
But out of those 20 guys, there's only 5 or 4 of them that actually could claim that they, outdid you. So it's not a bad thing.
No, there were some good guys.
It was a lot of fun. It's definitely sank the hooks into me to where I definitely got to do more traveling with you guys. If everything's that much fun, I'm really looking forward to it.
That walking by right there, that was Corey Rader, the one and only Corey Rader from down in Virginia. He was the guy that the Venom Junior car. He opened the door to help Smashed Empire Films get into the Derby down there at the Shenandoah County Fairgrounds in Woodstock. He messaged me in 2011, and now it's kind of. It's a little surreal to see some of the guys all in the same place. Like there's some guys here from Buffalo, there's some guys from that are from down south, some guys from Pennsylvania, and now you see them all in one spot at the same time. And
so
it's kind of it's cool. Just keep. This is one of those postseason things that really needs to happen.
Let's not forget, everyone's smiling in this room right now. But if it was June, July, or August, I know a bunch of beefs just in this room right here that are going on.
There'd be people divided, and I'm going to get him.
But the cool thing is today, it's not even about that. There's none of that going on. It's just have a good time, talk to all different guys, learn some stuff, and enjoy yourself.
But speaking of
Mike Christek.
Speaking of enjoying yourself, looks like
Mike Christek live. Mike's got some nice cars outside too.
Do we want to get Crash in? Steve, you want to come and sit down with us?
Huh? You coming in my spot? Come on.
You and him have a discussion.
No, I don't want to.
I can let him have my spot.
Whoever. Somebody's got to get up because he's someplace to sit.
No, you stay here because you guys can discuss it, and I'll be back when I'm needed.
Okay. Just hang loose because it's gonna be a caravan from here.
Hey, do me a favor. Hey, Brian, go grab Mike Decker. Do you know who Mike Decker is?
Who?
Mike Decker. Just tell Brett to grab Mike Decker.
Hey, we want to drink from the bar while I'm up?
No. Okay. I brought moonshine. If
you got some moonshine with you?
Oh, my truck is full. I don't know if I can bring it in. I'm going to sneak it in my pocket.
I smuggled a little in.
How are you?
Have a seat right there. Don't clean off the cords if you can avoid it.
Terry Relier, you got to get on here today too, young lady.
Slide that baby on.
You'll be good. There you go.
You got to put these on?
It'll be a little bit easier for you here if you do. Sitting down now with Steve Bucknam, Sr. from, is it New Hampshire still?
Sunapee, New Hampshire, yeah.
And
Somersworth now.
Jump right in there so we can hear you. And they're excellent, so we can hear you great. So you want to talk to Josh? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Mr. Decker.
Senior, you called me out to a tri-state area. You told 3 separate states to come junk me.
Out.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what did I miss? All I said was Josh Decker's for real.
Thank you, sir. But I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm trying to win that show, not get junked in my heat.
That's it,
I mean,
we gotta make sure everybody has fun.
You just made it. We just took the fun out of it for me. You just took the fun out of it.
certainly didn't make it any easier. That's for
No, now I got to work to get through my heats there.
All it does now is they just know the name they're going after.
I didn't want that.
They've always known what states they were going after.
It's gonna be a white roof sign, orange and black trim,
Yeah.
decorated across the middle. There'll be an imperial bird on it too. In case
And I guess I'm just holding it to the floor. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do.
on qualifying night. You
Or I'm
better.
going to have to bring multiple cars, which is already my plan.
It's
I mean,
gonna
we're-
be like any other derby, man.
Nah, it'll be a good time for
No.
sure.
When you get in that car and you feel like one, it's okay.
I mean, you've got a really interesting perspective on Demolition Derby. I mean, you're coming from a little bit of a different background for a lot of the guys that are getting into it now. Back when you could actually get a car for $25 or free, and Steve Jr. has told us all sorts of stories about what you were able to do out in that tri-state area, and how you prefer the Malibus and things along those lines. I would just like to know, just hear some of your favorite stories and some of your favorite memories for starters. Because I mean, when you had somebody drive you out to your car in a golf cart with a cape on, it's kind of hard to top that. But I kind of believe maybe you can.
Well, that was just one of many things that a lot of them I don't even remember anymore because getting old. But for the first 15 years, I mean, cars were free. People were paying us $35 to take them out of their yards.
Right.
So it was nice.
I mean, we know those days are gone. You're not going to get paid to take a car anymore. But at the same time, you gotta kind of appreciate that day and age. I mean, how many cars did you scrap that just because you didn't want to bother with them anymore? You run them once and park them.
When I stopped swapping motors and trannies, if the car didn't run, it just got junked, no matter what it was.
Right.
Back then, we weren't selling derby cars; they were everywhere.
Right.
Now, I cry because I got to spend $300 for a Corsica. I mean,
I wish I could buy derby cars for $300.
Well, you can if you're buying Corsicas.
Not the ones I want. Not the ones I want.
Did you have a chance to walk around out back and see some of the cars that are out there?
oh yeah, I've seen some of the stuff. There's
I don't know.
a lot of clean cars compared to what I'm used to seeing. I mean, I've had cars where people said they think I'm crazy to drive them, but that's what we deal with up, where I'm from. I mean, there are no floorboards and pieces of frame missing. That's normal.
I mean, what's your opinion on the rules, like the event that Jim Mann puts on, the Wood Booger promotion out there with the Northeast Championship at the Brockton Fair? I mean, what's your take on those rules? I mean, is that
Well, that's what I call real derbies. I mean, there's no welding your frame. There's no welding your seams, your door seams, your trunks. There's no hood pins. There's no changing motors. There's no, the tire rule has been changed now. I mean, before you could just run tubes in your tires and they had to be four-ply,
No.
You got to learn how to drive a derby. You got to know where a car bends at, where to hit somebody, how long to hold somebody, sit there, pretend you're a route, when to throw a water balloon at somebody, when not to.
It's interesting to hear Senior talk about that because, as he just referred to it, that's, in his eyes, true derbying. Well, when you talk, lately we've gotten lucky enough to talk to a lot of people out west that are in the hardcore areas of derbying.
Extreme build.
And they laugh at us by saying, that is not even derbying. They look at it totally separate and say, you guys don't even derby up there. Because they're so far advanced in derbying, totally different sides of the spectrum.
In your opinion, are they advanced?
I honestly don't like where the sport has gone. People know that. I don't hide from it. I think it's really hurting our sport. You need to have people that are going to start and want to do it. You need people in the stands that can look at a car and know what kind of car it is.
Right.
And people go to a demo derby to see cars get destroyed, not get towed out because it ran out of gas or overheated or the drive shaft broke.
True, but also on the opposite side of that, I think a lot of people like the opposite side of it. People like to see technology, the sport growing, cars lasting longer. I mean, just think of the aspect of derby motors now. I mean, derby motors is some of the best part of watching derbies is just to hear motors screaming across the track. And 20 years ago, we were all just running junkyard motors. We all sounded the same, but
my motors always sounded good.
Yeah, not like these ones.
You change the oil and put a cam in there and some new spark plugs. You're good to go.
And I run those too, but not like the ones we've been listening to. It's just different. and there's no right or wrong. It's just I think some people
I believe Steve would probably argue that there is a right, and it was his way that is correct.
But you're saying that because the sport is harder now, younger drivers don't enter it, and I disagree with that.
Well, I just think there's a lot less rookies. You know, we always, the promoters will always ask who's new to this, and, you know, there was a time when there was always 15, 20 hands. I mean,
yeah, but you
back
can
then there was 100 cars.
You can attribute that to a lot of different things, though, Steve. How many people are out there working on cars now? They're playing video games and stuff, too.
Well,
that's part of the
well,
factor.
also the new generation. I mean, you know, a lot of young people are building these tough cars, and that's cool. There's young people in it. We need that.
Like Tom Dowd.
Tommy Dowd.
It's always just been a sport to see cars crash and get crashed.
I mean, how much R&D did it take for you guys to figure out what you wanted to do? Steve's told me a lot about 80 style Caprices, where everybody else looks at them and they're garbage. They're not worth spending your time with. You guys have actually been able to get them to roll up pretty well on the back end.
That's Stevie's. When Stevie started racing, we started doing the ungodly thing, I think, cutting frames. In 30 years, I never cut frames, but, you know, my theory has always been a car knee level all the way around, period. I see stuff today that blows me away. We've always used the back end until there was no back end left, then the nose.
Right.
The first time I took a car on a track and just started driving crazy like I seen with the nose. You feel invincible after 1 or 2 hits. You do some stupid
that's the fun part of that right there.
Yeah, but when you drive the kind of cars I drive, 3 times full track shot across with your nose,
and you're done.
Yeah, you're kind of done.
Well, that's, you know, and you got to know that before you go to a track. You're absolutely right. If you're going to a stocker show, you're not. It's impossible to go run super hard and win the Derby. Those two things just aren't going to go together.
No, that's not true. I mean, I run hard. I always run like a nut, like I'm the last guy going. But, you know, and that's when they say go. I mean, they called me Crash because on the countdown on 5, I'm gone. I'm usually hitting the first guy on 0. And
yeah, I like to do that.
But
didn't they implement a rule at the Woodbooker show to keep other guys from getting obliterated based on you leaving on 5?
We have to go do a lover's tap. You back up and just gently tap and pull away. Then you start demo.
And that you are the reason because of that rule, right?
That's what I've heard. They stopped races at Claremont Speedway for 10 years because of a race I was involved in, hitting somebody after the checkered flag.
What?
About 10 times.
What happened?
They gave the race to somebody else when I was the winner, so I kind of ran over a fireman to drive on the track and slam this guy and pop his windshield out of his car.
And proceeded to carry on, right?
Yeah. And then the owner said, I know you won.
Cook, there's about 100 people looking for you. I know there's a bunch of guys looking for you. Sorry to chime in there.
What?
You're all sold out? Scott Cook is all sold out. Just so everybody... You are? You are? I didn't even get to you yet. Just so everybody knows out there, Scott Cook is completely sold out.
Scott?
Good for you, man.
Hey,
That's
Scott,
awesome.
enjoy your night then.
Yeah, no, now relax.
Go get more.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Is it worth driving back?
All he's got left is t-shirts.
That's it?
And you can order from him. How awesome is that? Good for
anybody
you,
from the power team.
I mean, this guy, anybody see the picture? He brought a ton of stuff down. He sold it all down here. It's just so cool.
Did you get a chance to see any of the stuff that he brought? Tough stuff, Scott Cook?
I don't know whose stuff I saw where and when because there's so much here.
It's pretty busy.
To someone like me, I mean, I live, breathing demo derbies have been my life since I was a little kid, and this is awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, all these people from everywhere came here because of demo derbies.
It is awesome.
Awesome.
It really is, truly.
There's some guys here from Virginia.
I mean,
that came up.
There's like 9 states here. I know Mike Decker come from Ohio or Michigan. I mean, we got all of your. I mean,
way back in the day, the first time we went to Wide World of Sports out at Islip, it was like crazy. There's people in other cities and states that race demo derbies.
Right.
We thought we were the only ones. The first time I went to Dent, the Silverdome, I was counting 10 grand on the way out there. What am I going to do with all this money? These guys have never seen anyone like me before, and I was right.
Right.
They never saw no dumbass like me before.
You were behind the time. Oh, you're fine.
I was the only guy, 210 cars with no welds.
Oh, boy.
Oops, no bars.
That's a long night.
That was kind of quick.
What did you do in that situation? You just drive it like you did any place else?
Yeah. I mean, I held up all right, and I was going to win Mad Dog till I gave a unsightly gesture to an official. I messed up because the last minute I decided to put a foot pedal in at 2 in the morning when we're in the stadium watching heats go, and I used 9-wire for my cable instead of mechanics wire. And when they said go and I gave it gas, that 9-wire stuck everything, and I was to the boards. So I was rocking cars, putting cars on 2 wheels. But then when my drive shaft come up through my tranny and flipped it sideways and shattered the back of it, I thought I was moving, but the guy I was stuck on was pushing me. So as the guy was waving to tell me I'm out, I started moving, so I gave him the finger going, but I really wasn't moving.
That is pretty funny. So the transmission flipped over in the car?
Yeah, the whole rear of it shattered and the tranny just snapped and flipped sideways.
Good God, man. You're lucky you didn't get hurt.
No, that was fun.
So where else have you derbied? I mean,
my first 15 years were all racetracks.
Yeah.
We were either the end show or the entertainment in the middle.
Sure.
We weren't really allowed in the pits. You know, we had to stay outside. The stock car guys didn't want us in there. But we were the show. And then after 15 years, it started at fairs. You had to do heats and a feature. Everything was one-shot deal for at least the first 10 years. Then track started doing heats and features. We'd go to Westboro. They would supply cars for the feature. They would give you cars. They guarantee they run. That's it. You know, you had a half hour to get them ready. So
they used to do that at Waterloo. They would have feature cars for you. If you qualified, you just draw a set of keys.
Yeah, Norwood Arena did it. Westboro Speedway did it. Thompson did it a few times.
I would love that.
Thompson, that's in Connecticut, right?
Yeah,
that track's
Thompson
still there.
Speedway, that track's still there. They still do one-shot derbies on the track. It's not asphalt. Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah,
you get the
like
smell,
asphalt?
the sound.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's so much better than dirt. Cars slide different, everything.
You've done asphalt derby down at Afton, I think.
No, Afton, they run them on the dirt. They didn't. That was always on the dirt. I used to go watch Shangri-La. Actually, I watched Mark Benjamin right in front of us. These guys used to run a Shangri-La racetrack all the time on the blacktop, and it was insane. I mean, oh my God, it was awesome.
Riverhead Speedway is all asphalt everywhere. Riverhead Speedway.
Well, I think it was Riverhead. Riverhead is one of the places that claim to be the one of the founders of Demolition.
Yeah, actually, Islip.
Islip.
But now that Islip's gone, Riverhead's with it. They have what they call the championships.
Yeah, I think Richie
we used to go out there. It's $1,500 if you win, and it was $75 per second in a case of beer. You got to be kidding me, right? I mean, just unreal.
I think Richie just ran there last year and ran Islip Speedway.
One of the
not Islip, Riverhead.
Seekonk Speedway in the 80s, 252 cars, one-shot deal.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is scary stuff. The first 5 minutes, once you've done that, you're okay, because all the nuts are out, you know. But
I would not want to have to score that.
That was a scary place, that track.
252 cars. Now imagine 252 cars of the caliper that we watch now.
Oh my
God, that'd be awesome. It'd be a 2-hour feature.
252 Bobby Brockway cars.
Oh, it'd be awesome. I mean, that'd be so awesome.
I've seen them go from, because we used to run 8 nights at Brockton, and it used to be R&R, Rudy and Stoney Roberts used to run.
Yeah,
right.
But there was 100 cars there, 8 nights in a row.
Wow.
I mean, now, this year they're going to run 4, I guess, but, you're lucky to get 30 cars a night anywhere.
Absolutely right.
It doesn't matter if they're stock or these modified things you got.
I mean, one of the best shows that we go to every year is the Hartford Fair in August. Their class, they've got 25 cars in their limited well division, and it puts on a great show. They cap their stock division at 16.
Right.
And it's really interesting to hear these stories from all over the place of the epic car counts that people used to get, and I just can't imagine seeing 252 cars at one time in a one and done.
And it didn't matter what you had. No, we never went to places that they lined you up by what car you had. All the cars, station wagons, Dodge Darts, they all go together.
Wow.
Everything's together.
Dodge Darts.
Dodge Darts are fun cars.
There was a Dodge Dart at Waterloo one time. I think Keebler had it. Pat Keebler maybe had it, and it did pretty well.
I remember
we used to paint the bottom, lay on the ground, and put happy faces and stuff, so that during the race when they pop up, people get to see stuff.
Right.
Write some stuff.
But nothing obscene though.
Well, it's a family show.
Sometimes.
It's a family show.
I mean,
funny.
When I was growing up, it was cool. My two brothers were racing stock car, went to demo derbies, and 4 of my brothers were running derbies. And then when I started running derbies, I had 4 brothers, 3 nephews running derbies. We'd all go to tracks together. I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
We were like a powerhouse where I was from, and then I find out it's other people are doing it across the country. It was pretty crazy.
Yes, it is.
That was an eye-opening experience for you, just realizing that other people, other places outside of Whitney Point were doing derbies.
And
when you were a kid, I mean, not like yesterday.
No, I'll never forget. If I can tell a really quick story, at my county fair, my dad used to do inspections at the county fair, and I'll never forget that Jesse Howe brought some cars there, and Jesse Howe was talking to my dad and said to him, "Oh no, all summer long I go all over from fair to fair, and I derby everywhere." And I never will forget it. It like dawned on me, I don't have to just derby here. I can go everywhere and derby. And Jesse Howe really is like the first person that ever made me realize, like, I can do this all summer long. And ever since that, I've been hooked. Get out of here, Brett.
You're talking about like derbying all over the place. By that you mean like going to Minnesota or Kansas?
I never thought that kind of stuff, but thank you, Jesse Howe, for that.
Jesse who?
Everybody knows Jesse Howe.
It's pretty interesting, the places. I mean, we drove cars, me and Stevie, out to Wichita, Kansas, took a bus home.
That's awesome.
Drove a car to something in Florida for a demo on Discovery Channel, took a bus home.
That's awesome.
Where was the one for Discovery Channel?
That was a Stony Roberts show out in Sumter County.
Oh.
It was years ago.
How about that?
Stupid thing. I mean, we'd get a car on. I still do this now. Get a car on Friday, and I'm racing on Sunday.
And by the way, for the record, let it be known that Steve Bucknam derbied in Kansas first.
I can't say that was me. All right, that's fair.
Where's your shirts? I thought you had shirts made up for today. There was going to be the car on one and the Jersey Barrier on the other.
You shut me down on all that stuff.
Who did?
You guys. I had ideas. I could have made some money today.
We shut you down.
I decided not.
You're out of your mind. We didn't shut you down. We were giving you great ideas. The girl's shirt has a picture of your car, and the dude's shirt has a Jersey Barrier.
I'd be okay with that. A bunch of people had some great shirt ideas. I wish I made them, actually.
You should have.
Yeah, we'll wait. Let's see how next year turns out.
Did you buy anything on the pits? I saw some stuff that had your name on it.
I got here at 12:30. I'm late to the party. I still have to get with everybody. I have back of my truck is full of parts to sell. I still have to get parts from everybody. I got a car on the trailer.
Pretty soon you're going to be the only one with parts for sales. That's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, you're going to be in demand.
Higher price.
That's a good idea.
You're going to be in even more demand.
That's a good idea.
Either that or they're out there helping themselves.
Maybe they get 2 things. You can sell an autograph while you're selling a part.
That's why I was going to have a shirt that said no autographs. Jim Beatty, get out of here.
No pictures, please. No pictures. No pictures.
So how's it feel to be a star?
I don't know, sir. When I become one, I'll let you know.
The internet's crazy, isn't it?
It just makes me laugh.
When Stevie introduced me to the internet, I was insane looking at cars that people make. Oh, my God.
I mean, would you even have any remote interest in building a car the way that the cars are being built now? I mean, would you want to do that and participate in that? Me
personally build it, I don't know if I can anymore. I honestly don't know how to weld. I've never owned a welder in my life. Stevie tried to teach me once, but so I mean, I
don't know what I would do without a welder. If somebody would help
me and do it, I'd go drive one.
Yeah,
why not?
But
somebody
as long as I had more gas than anybody else, I think I'd win.
I can outbag you.
I don't know, Josh.
I can outbag you, sir.
The last couple times I've seen Josh run, his cars have been pretty folded, been pretty bent up.
I drive a derby car. I don't bag. I don't hide.
Oh, I'll bag sometimes.
Brian
I only hit hard if it's a tire or radiator. Otherwise,
I'll bag it.
Love taps.
Brian Tompkins.
I like better frustrating people. You get somebody against a dead car on the wall, and you pretend you can't get a gear.
Right.
Never done that.
I rock back and forth, and they start, I crack up at that. I love doing it. I love throwing lollipops at people and water balloons. And
I'm not
go back to having fun.
If you throw a water balloon at me in a derby car, sir, I would back way up.
Wouldn't that rile you up? You'd be doing track shots.
So far back, I will.
Yeah.
If somebody threw a balloon at me,
that means it works.
I
I'd be backing way up.
Well, Josh was actually doing that to Colton. You know, just kind of trying to stay on him and stay on him and trying no, not throwing water balloons, but just trying to aggravate him, just stay on top of him and
it was working,
irritate him, and I guess it worked.
I thought
Squirt guns, anything.
No.
Squirt guns.
See, I'm concentrating on hitting.
Well, actually, with all the way this conversation's gone, people are going to believe that you're more focused on holding still and going slow because you keep talking about how you bag this and you bag Cuba.
Let me tell you this: a true derby driver can do all aspects. Brett Relier taught me that. Just bag, and then sometimes drive hard.
I don't care how I drive as long as the crowd cheers when I'm
That's
done.
right. I mean, leaving the horn in so you can call your shots.
I used to put extra horns under at some places because we go far away. You know, I'm 300 miles from home, and they're saying we're taking 2 cars and whoever the crowd cheers for. Well, who knows me up there? So I go around, collect horns, put them under the car, and point at people and drive at them. So I don't have a car left to go to the feature, but I get voted in a lot.
How your car choice was the Malibu, the mid 70s Malibu.
73 to 77 Malibu.
I mean, what was your
full
thing
frame
with that?
small car? It just, I don't know. I liked it. They didn't roll up like a moped did. The backs just go in a little bit. And like I said, I don't cut frames or nothing, so they're perfect. I mean, just changing body bolts on those is amazing. The first time I did that was, you take the front bumper, just flip it over and crank it up as high as you can. And I seriously do put 2x4 wood in my front springs. That's how I get that high.
Right, and I think it was
cardboard in the shocks.
Yeah, did you hear that story?
Yes.
The wet cardboard stuff it in the shocks.
I just do rags, but wet cardboard, I can
Wet
see that
cardboard.
working. Yep, I can see that
About
working.
3 stuffs.
Yep. I've been there, sir. Yep, I use old shirts and rags, but I'm going to try cardboard. It's probably cheaper than me cutting up my
the whole
shirts.
thing with any car is, your first hit, you want it to be solid on somebody's full side, a straight hit. That starts whatever the car is going to do. And then you go corner to corner. I mean, it's just...
And that was where your whole plan went off the rails when Colton hit you funny on that Lincoln, and the whole front end turned into silly string. And it's taking nothing away from the quality of the build of the car.
Oh, absolutely not. Driver error. Oh, no, it's 100% my fault. I mean, I let him get me in a corner. As he was coming at me, Chris, I can remember it clear as day saying, I'm in a bad spot. And I took a bad shot, and it jammed me up, and I had to work the rest of the heat, the rest of that feature. I had to work it, and I'm still sore. My arms and back and neck were sore for days because I was fighting it. My own fault. I took a bad shot, and then I had to... There was consequences.
Yeah.
I had to fight for the next 20 minutes.
I mean, I love when you're out there and like, you're in the Derby, but you just feel one with the car. Like, you don't...
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You kind of like see where everything's coming from. You play with certain people. You just... It's just, I don't know how to describe it.
Is it a Zen-like experience?
Sort of like that, yeah.
Well, Derby, and there's...
I've always said it's better than sex, and people say I'm nuts.
I'll disagree with that. We're pretty close, sir. Nah.
Wow, this is getting really weird.
Might be why I've had 3 wives, too. I don't know. I missed my sister's wedding. I missed a couple of things. This is one of my nephews. Yeah.
You never missed your own, though, right? You never missed your own?
I was clear at my 3 with my other nephew.
The other day, Lazenby was talking to us about going to a Derby on June 21st, which is actually my best friend's wedding. I'm the best man.
I talked with Jared about this.
So I talked to my best friend, and I just telling him, because he knows I love Lazenby. I was telling him, he goes, just go, dude. And I'm like, no, this is your wedding. He goes, just go do it, dude. I'm like, absolutely not. I can't miss your wedding for Jared Lazenby, but I'm really thinking I might.
Well, we'll have to visit this. We'll have to visit this later because I talked with Mark at Derby Tees a little bit about that and what we are or aren't going to be able to do, and the biggest concern is internet connection.
Right.
How are we going to do that? And it's where Jared's having that show is adjacent to what at one point was the largest road course racetrack in America.
Nice.
So it should be pretty easy to get a signal.
You would think.
Either that or I told Lazenby, just ask to jump the box, and run a really long extension cord over to your place.
Right. No, I would love to go out there to hang out with Lazenby would be a dream come true to me.
It'd make your life, huh?
My thing with him though.
What's crazy? There's people say that about you.
No.
Yeah, there are.
No, it's crazy.
That's what we've been trying to tell you, man.
They are, seriously.
Everybody in this room right now knows that that's not.
We have people
crazy.
coming to Brockton just because you're coming.
Oh, great! Come because you called
No,
them
not
out.
to
You
come
told-
after you because you're going to be there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate appreciate that.
They're coming
That's
to Brockton. Yeah, they're coming to Brockton to
They're
get
gonna
you.
junk my ass. Yeah, Vern knows. I'm
They're
gonna
coming
get
for the 7,500.
Look at that! I got Vern coming with me. Vern will be my bodyguard.
It had nothing to do with the payout. They're just coming to junk you.
Yeah.
that's all.
That's why I'm going. That payout is mighty tasty.
See, he knows he's famous because he knows they're coming to junk him. See,
$7,500.
That's a lot of money, man. That buys me a lot of new.
that's
beer
why
in the
you're gonna
park.
have someone else there with a car that says Decker and yours just nothing with a number.
I thought about that already. Already thought about that. I already thought about sending it. Already thought about that.
He said the push car out there.
Yep. Let him take the abuse.
You wouldn't do that to somebody, would you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vern would do it for me. I know it.
Listen,
Vern yet.
you lived up to the hype. You lived up to the hype. That's why I posted it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I believe in you.
But I just got lucky one time, you know.
How about that? You lived up to the hype. Is that a compliment or what?
I appreciate that. Actually, it means a lot to me, you know. Because really, you know, I'm kind of like you, Steve, where Derby has been my life and I grew up in a family that they didn't give a shit about Derby and they didn't care about cars. My dad didn't like any of it, and it was just me by myself loving Derby in my whole life, you know. And it's kind of cool. My dad always just told me I was crazy and stuff, but now I look at around today and it's like I wasn't crazy.
No, you
know.
weren't.
I just trusted my gut that Derby was awesome, and I'm right.
It's the only thing I've had in my life that I really feel
Drives you.
great about. Yeah.
I agree.
Think about
if it's my ego or not, I love it.
Enjoy it. Definitely.
you really don't. You're really still having a hard time coming to grips with all this, aren't you?
What do you mean?
I mean, what Steve
It's hard
said
to be
about you know.
famous.
It's not true. But, you know, come
Think
on.
about how excited Daniel Ort was to meet you. I'm not. I mean,
but
you
let's
laugh
all
with
be
it.
honest.
Daniel
I mean-
Ort doesn't know you from anybody, and
Tell
suddenly
you,
he got
Derby
to hang
Inc. had
out
a lot
with,
to do with it. The first
Yes,
story in
I
Derby
agree.
Inc. That started it.
I almost all of it.
And then the internet doesn't hurt neither.
There's a couple people that I
Yeah.
really owe it to. You
And
know?
then you actually get a trophy and you post it right away as soon as you get it out there.
That was kind of cool.
You know, I mean, that.
When they
that
handed me
did
a
it.
trophy, man, the smile came on my
Yeah,
face.
I can
It was like,
imagine.
man, that's awesome. I really enjoyed that, you know. But listen, at the end of the day, we all the guys in this room, they know that I'm in the garage just like they are. Half these guys are way better than me. Got more seat time, better cars, better equipment.
How many cars were in that heat you were in, that race?
About 25.
About
so.
25.
more than
You got
that.
fifth.
28,
Was there?
32, somewhere.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
there's a bunch
it was
of
a
them
high
out
count.
there.
So, you know, there's 30 other cars that didn't get the fifth, that worked on their car every single day. You got there and got in a car that somebody else built for you, and you got fifth place.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
we
if
call
I-
That is damn good.
We call that Jimmy Johnsoning.
You know, it would have been cool. And that's true, actually, because I didn't even drive that thing before I derbied it. I just got in it, fired it up, drove it on the track, you know,
Josh is so high profile. He had somebody else take the car through inspection.
which was awesome. I hate going through inspection. I had somebody else do it for me.
He
My
said,
dream, just get somewhere and do nothing but race the car.
That's
Don't put up with
Tony
nothing.
Stewart style. That's what
Yeah,
I'm.
buddy.
That would be the awesomest life ever. Could you imagine?
we were actually getting nervous for him because come time for the Derby, he was sitting inside the car and he goes, you know what? I don't even know how to start this.
I didn't know how to start it. I didn't even know how to start it. You know,
That's awesome.
But that goes again to show how something that's really well built, no matter who you throw in it, can do really well with it. Because I didn't know that car inside and out or how it was going, but it was built so well that I was able to take shots from,
It was
and I took a
not
lot
only-
of shots.
I mean, you took a lot of shots, but I mean, you also know how to drive.
Thank you,
Got a lot
sir.
to do with it.
Thank you, sir.
You know, even
But you know
if
what,
it is
maybe-
a welded up monster, you still gotta know how to take the hit or how to give the hit.
But I still catch myself making mistakes all the time. You know, while I'm out there.
Yeah, you're going to have to cut
Because
that
you're
out.
human.
It drives me nuts, man.
he's not- he's
you know
superhuman.
what? But really, Steve, there's a lot of guys in this room that we're in right now that don't make mistakes on the track. I mean, maybe once in a while, but there's a lot of.
I disagree. I think that they make mistakes.
I mean-
Everybody makes mistakes on the tracks. The difference is whether or not you get caught doing it.
Yeah, whether you let it blow
That's a
your
great
night or
point,
not.
too. That's a great point too. But I just know guys that.
The thing is to make a mistake and then get back to your driving and not get
Don't
mad
dwell on
because
it.
that mistake
That's true.
and
That's
blow it
true.
Don't
up.
dwell on it and don't get caught.
That's true, on
That's
it.
the big thing.
But
I mean,
that's true. That is true. A lot of these guys just I can never catch them in a mistake, and you know what I'm saying. I always feel like they're catching me in mistakes, but I don't catch them in mistakes. You know,
They just don't let you see it.
that's probably true. That's probably
because
true.
you're too busy knocking out the competition for them.
That's true. Very true.
It's a derby. One car has to be the mistake side all the time.
That's everybody but one guy's going to win. So
Yeah,
everybody else is going to make a
That's it.
mistake. You know, that's very true.
I know we got Mike coming on here in a little bit. Like Decker.
We got to have Mike Decker on.
Yeah.
All right, can I get out of here?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
go.
of course.
You're free to go.
You're out of here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Steve Bucknam Sr.,
Steve Bucknam Sr. out of here.
if you can believe that. I know is Mike's right there in the Carhartt if you want to grab him.
Mike Decker. No.
Granddad Mike.
Thanks,
I know a famous person.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Where is he?
Now we're going to the total side of the spectrum here.
Complete opposite direction.
Over there. Come on, old man, get down here.
We're allowed to have refreshments.
Yeah, of course you can. Dirty Joe's. It's a family shop.
Go ahead. Now we're going total opposite side of the spectrum here.
We went from Steve, who is bone stock, no weld at all, to
now
the incomparable Mike Decker.
I can put
those. Well, it'll be a little bit easier for you to hear us.
Now, of course, everyone knows Mike Decker out this way, but anybody that's listening to us, maybe in the West Coast or South or something, but the Slam Man, Run Dent. Everyone's seen him on TV. I know he's been on some TV events. He's been the stuff this guy builds is unbelievable. And
Josh Decker got to have breakfast with him.
Yes, I did get that a couple times. Thank you, Mike, for letting me do that.
He actually bought.
Yeah, well, I owe you that. But Mike has told some just awesome stories of just derbying. He makes me feel like I'm way behind, really way behind, because just to hear him, he's a true builder. And I want him to tell a story. The main reason that you're on here, Mike, today is you tell an awesome story about tilting. And tilting, in my eyes, has totally changed Demolition Derby. Rick Engelhart, everybody. Tilting has totally changed Demolition Derby, I think.
2012 Hit of the Year award winner.
Was it tilt right there, Rick Engelhart? Yep. But I'd like you to tell a couple minutes. If you could tell the story that you told me, Mike, and if you could just go in there, get out of here. I'm not autographing shit. Get out of here. Son of a bitch. Get out of here. I love Engelhart.
That's funny.
Well, if you could tell everybody the story, because the story is so cool. I was in awe when you were telling it. And if you could just tell the story of what you did with tilting and maybe where it originated.
Well, first of all, what do you mean by tilting? I'm a little lost there.
You just tell me the story you told me. You just tell me the story. And I'm just interested. There's so many people that would love to hear this story because I know everybody wonders, where did tilting come from? Who thought of it? Please tell the story.
You're setting me up. I didn't know this was going to happen.
So you could just tell him you don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Just keep it that way.
It was a great
I have
story.
no idea what you're talking about. It was, well, to be honest with you, I mean, this whole Derby world, there's a ton of things that people's done and innovated the sport, and most of it's been done for a long, long time. The new generation, I call it, the 80s and the metrics, and these guys coming up nowadays and the internet the way it is. It's easy to learn something on the internet from your buddies, but let's just face it, it had to originate most of the things that we've done somebody's garage.
Exactly.
And people like to take credit, and this is not about taking credit for anything. That's the first thing I want to understand. It's not about what I've done or what we've done, or it's just a weird story. And Josh and I was talking. So, long story short, this tilting of the Fords, I can't begin to give you a day or a date. Many years ago, I've probably been through a couple hundred Crown Vics, so that tells you, how long. But
wow,
yeah.
We actually, a friend of mine and I ran a county fair in 1987 Mercury Marquis. Just standard car, standard fare. Back then, we didn't know a whole lot about them other than they were pretty tough in the front. We actually took it to a county fair with old style cars, and he takes this Crown Vic or Marquis, whatever, and he proceeds to drive like an idiot and stand the front end up.
Yep.
Well, we take it back to the house, and they got another Derby in 2 or 3 nights, same place, same time. So I'm looking at this car, and it's too nice for a car to junk, so I'm thinking, I can fix this. I could fix it. So when I built my garage, I don't know why, there's 7-foot log chains in the cement. They're there
Perfect.
for, I don't know why I put them there. It's just one of them things. But anyway.
Exactly.
So
interesting.
I get the bright idea that we could fix this car. So my buddy Jay, he says, what do you got up your sleeve? And I said, well, in order to get this thing straight so we can run it, we got to pull it back down a little bit and get it straight. He said, how you plan on doing that? So I look it over, and, you know, like we do when we build these cars, you know, we study them. And for me, being a builder, as you say, I study them. I really study them. And I'm looking at this thing, can't really see where it's bent. I mean, it's not any obvious position. This car's just raised up about 12 inches in the front. So I'm trying to figure out where this thing bent. And I jack it up, pull the wheels off the front, and chain it to the chains in the garage. Put some floor jacks underneath it, and I'm trying to pull the front bumper back down, so I got the bumper chained to the ground, and I got jacks underneath the boxes, and I'm jacking away, and it's not wanting to do a whole lot.
Right.
So I think that little flap right here is, you know, stopping us. So I pulled a torch out and I cut this flap, and it jumps. I mean, it made a loud noise, you know, like a shotgun.
Yeah.
This car jumps, you know. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, wow, well, I'm onto something. So never knew exactly what I was doing. So all I was wanting to do is get another run out of the car. So I cut the other side, and I keep jacking. All of a sudden, this front end lets loose, and when it did, it literally went to the ground.
All the way.
All the way.
Too far.
Yeah, I was like 6 inches off the ground. Front bumper was, stripped protector was now 3 feet from the firewall. And this guy's flipping out. He's just like, oh my God, what did you just do to my car? And it actually pulled the drive shaft, the yoke out of the drive shaft. I mean, that's how far it pulled down.
Jesus.
So he's flipping out, and I said to him, I said, look, whatever I did, I'll just undo it again. You know,
right, exactly.
I said, just go home, and I'll figure it out. So he's wigging out. I said, just go. So he leaves. I lock the garage door. Now I'm reversing everything. So now I put the jacks underneath the front bumper.
Right.
And now I got the boxes, you know, chained down, etc. So I'm lifting the front bumper, and I kept looking back and staring at the car, and I'm thinking the frame's coming back up, and all of a sudden it's level. And I thought, well, that's where it's got to be.
Exactly.
So I welded the flaps back shut that I cut with a torch. Called him. He comes back over the next day, and he's like, that thing's perfectly straight, dude. How did you do that? I was like, I just undid everything I did the first time when I screwed up. It was an accident.
Exactly.
So long story short, he takes his car back to the same county fair and runs against legends like Toby Hiley and his dad, and Olds wagons and Olds 98s and old style cars, and
good stuff.
He's feeding it to him. I mean, nose to nose with this marquee 87 at that.
Right.
Wasn't even an HD car. I didn't even know what that was back then.
Right.
But he's feeding it to these wagons and these old style cars with the front of this thing, and I mean, he's absolutely hanging in there. I mean, he's just doing his thing, and this car never bent. And matter of fact, Toby and I had a conversation when it was over that, you know, there's something done to that car. And he's like, I said, I swear to you, I never did anything to that car. I never added any metal.
Right.
It's not plated. I swear to you. And he would not buy that. So anyway, I kind of took it home, and I was like, we were under 6 times that same car.
Jesus. Wow. After it bent?
After I pulled it down and fixed it, per se.
Yep.
And we ran it 6 more times. And so that got me wondering, there's something up with that. Why is that car so hard?
Right.
He ran it one time, and it bent in 20 minutes. I pulled it down, and now, you know, we ran it 6 more times. So I'm starting to think there's something to that.
Exactly.
So I started looking at another car, and I could see the angle and the pitch of these front ends was gradually uphill, etc. So I thought maybe I pulled it down perfect. And you got to think about things. You know, level is always better. You know, and so we gave it a whirl on another car, and same thing. It was phenomenal, and the car was awesome. So I got to end this story with the bottom line here. We're doing another car. The cat's not out of the bag yet, because I'm not really 100% sure. Yeah, this is going to, maybe it was a fluke.
Absolutely.
So our second car.
It was an accident.
The second car is not a fluke. It's right. So my buddy tells another buddy, which was, in the derby world, you have friends, but they're competition.
Absolutely.
You really don't want them in your garage, but you don't mind if they show up and drink a beer.
Absolutely.
Or at least they need to know the timing's right to come over. Well, he invites somebody to the house. Is like, hey, we're working on a car tomorrow. Stop by Mike's if you're not doing anything. He didn't tell me, so here I got a car, boxes up, jack stands underneath it, chains to the floor. I'm jacking, I'm cutting, Front wheels are off. I'm doing my thing. And the door's open about halfway, and I'm underneath the front of the car, and I look out, and there's feet. And I'm like, I roll out from underneath there, and I lifted my welding hood up, and there stands 3 of my competition.
Yes.
They're just standing there with their mouth hanging open. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, fixing
I'd be so
something.
pissed right now. I'd be so pissed
Yeah,
right
I'm like,
now.
fixing something. Yeah, you know, the A-arm. That's I'm welding the A-arm. Yeah, that's it. and right there, I was like devastated. I was like, oh my God. So that fair was that week. Well, those boys showed up with 5 cars, tilted, with the flaps cut, re-welded. Didn't take the time to grind the weld off the flaps like we did back in the day.
Right.
To blend it, make it look like it's never been touched.
It was blatant.
Yeah, so naturally they showed up at the fair, and everybody flips out and want to know what the heck these guys did to these cars and why is that. And they started looking more and more, and then they started making them cut and grind, and it exploded like the plague.
Yes.
I've never seen anything so fast travel. And then the same guy that was working on the cars with me at that time actually got on the internet. Gotta love the internet. And sent a 3-page email to one of the shooties, Pat Shooty actually, and gave him a detailed how to build a Ford, pull the front ends down, et cetera, and there's certain things you just keep in your garage. I wanted to keep the upper hand.
Absolutely, Mike.
You know, for a year or so anyway, but it took about a month or 2, and it was out.
It blew up.
And it's funny, you know, it's not a big deal. It was purely an accident when I did it, but it's just neat how I did it. And then you step back, and today you look at these cars, and you're like,
everybody does it.
And you talk to millions of people. It seems like it seems like that many from all over the United States, and everybody's doing it. And it's a cookie cutter. It's the way life is, and people don't know. And I'm sure there's people out there that will say they've done it, and they were the first to do it.
Sure.
And there's naysayers out there, and that's cool. I understand that, but I mean, I'm talking 98, 99.
Yeah, dude, that's when I was first
2000.
Derby.
I mean, we're talking 15 years ago.
That's awesome.
Matter of fact, I did a dent car. Nobody at that time was aware of it. I did a dent car. I let a friend of mine drive it because I had some knee surgery, and he had a nasty car for dent. And the front end was absolutely perfect for the feature. I swear he had it in the bag. And Toby, of all people, wins the feature with a wagon that's sky high before the feature started.
Right.
He took a Ford wagon out there and won with it, and the front end was already in the air. And it's funny because I'll never forget it. He says, you know, what'd you do to that car? You know, and I said, someday, Toby, I'll teach you how to build a Ford. You know, we laughed about it. Well, what I meant by that is I was going to let him in on the tilting secret eventually, but just not today. And it's so funny how that is so much the opposite because, I mean, I'm not a Toby lover, and we're really good friends. But Toby is a hell of a car builder.
Absolutely.
And now you look at a Ford Crown Vic and the way they're built, it came out of Toby's garage.
Right.
You know, he did the back ends, and he just started the creasing, and you know, people don't know that story.
Right.
You know, but Toby's a hell of a builder, and I felt really fortunate to have one up on him at the time, but it was very short-lived.
Every state has a claim that this guy that doesn't run anymore was the guy that created tilting, and just the same, it's the guy that founded creasing.
Right.
You know, every state that we've been to, it's like, well, you know, they say so-and-so did it, but really, we did it first back in 1971. I'm like, it could be. I'm not going to argue with you about it.
Back in 71, they were tilting 95 Crown Vics.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they weren't even built.
But you know, when Mike told me that story, I was just in such awe because I've sat there myself and said, like, who's this SOB that sat in their garage and figured this out? You know, and it really did change derbying. And like you say, there can be guys out there that say they did it, but your story connects so well because you're in an area that would have blown up in. You know, if that happened here,
right,
nobody would have done it. But you were in such a competitive area that
that changed the course.
It did.
It changed the course of Derby. It changed the course of Ford Crown Vics. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say that, you know, I do live and eat and sleep and breathe this stuff, and you know, we do in our sleep subconsciously think about building cars and how to make them better. And I'd like to think that I thought this up and I thought I'm going to do this, but it was purely an accident, to be honest with you.
But that's why it's cool. But that's why it's so cool,
yeah.
you know?
And it's my story, you know, and that's just it. For me, it's just like, yeah, I know the fact. I know the truth.
Yes.
There wasn't one Crown Vic tilted anywhere in the United States from here to California at that point in time.
That's so cool.
And
now it's the norm.
It's
so cool.
If you don't do it, then you way are behind time.
Yeah.
And you know the thing is, I wish we still had Steve Senior hanging around here, because I would love to ask him the question now that we've established this the rank and order of the Crown Victoria's evolution. Look at where that Crown Victoria is. There's no other car in Demolition Derby that gets as many gimmies as the Crown Victoria does.
Oh, that's 100% true.
They get that car gets so many favors. Everybody else has to basically you run the car that you've got. And now, you know, it's completely different with the Crown Victoria. Now they're tilting everything. I mean, there's stuff, everything's tilted.
Absolutely. And we tilted old styles and didn't even know what we were doing, you know, so I can't say tilting in general was the first time. I'm talking about Crown Vics.
Right. And
I didn't bring the old school car building to the Crown Vic world overnight and say, hey, I did that on a Buick before, I'm going to try that. That's not, I mean, we did it back then, just, you know, putting a little bit of pressure on the front and but torching the frame and pulling them down and putting change in your floor for that reason. And, you know, that wasn't part of it. So. And
imagine if, and I'm sure by this time it would have been figured out, let's just say by somebody else. But
absolutely.
What if not? I mean, it almost opened up. Crown Vics now started a new. I mean, now there's just Crown Vic derbies virtually. I mean, it opened it grew Demolition Derby because instead of us all fighting over Buick Electras, now all of a sudden younger guys are just buying a shitload of Vics, and it helped our right.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
It blew up the sport. It really did.
It changed the course of taxi cabs forever.
It did.
It did. And the sad part is, guys like me, I'll build one, I'll run one, but the truth of the matter is I hate the metrics. Absolutely hate them. They can be a tough car, and that's not a problem, but the galvanized and I mean, you're putting a rocket engine in a pop can. That's what it boils down to. And you know, they are what they are, and today is what it is. So based on what we have available, I mean, they are, you know, that's the end of the world. I mean, the derbies ain't going to change any more than they already have. I don't see it happening anyway.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Who made this? If it's not someone, you're lucky I like you, Mr. Foreman.
That is awesome.
That's so funny. I love you guys. I'll take this. I'm going to put this on my trophy showcase. I'm telling you right now. I kind of want to throw it against the wall, but a little bit.
It's not even accurate. Your car wasn't even sitting that way.
Yeah.
Both paint jobs dead on though.
You guys crack me up. Dude. I love the derby community. You know, everybody's so much fun.
When we were out in Minnesota, he drove into the wall, and his wheels were already spinning backwards when he got there. But my heart was in my throat for him. Like, if you came all the way out here and you hang yourself on the wall here too, God, you're never gonna live it down.
There was bets that he was going to.
You know, before I pulled out there, Ben goes, if there's anything you concentrate on today, it's staying in the middle of the track.
Stay in the middle of the
track.
That's awesome.
We just had a cable go bad on that. I think we just had a cable go bad on that. Go ahead, keep talking.
Can you hear me now?
I think we just lost a cable.
I'm done. Oh, I'm back.
There it is. Okay,
and I'm back.
So they say the camera adds like 10 or 20 pounds.
Isn't it true?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope the hell not.
Well, you can see it right here. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
oh, Lord, I'm fat. I am drinking light beer, though. But no, I've been very fortunate to grow up in Ohio as far as, you know, in my opinion, the derby capital of the world. And people say, you know, you're all up on this, you're a builder. I mean, you have to. You have to. It's survive. It's not cheating. It's not plating. It's not the thousands of things we know how to do to cars. It's not necessarily just that. It's just...
At the same time, what is your thought then on where Demolition Derby is, focusing just again on the Crown Victoria, and you look at what you did by accident versus the extreme build that has evolved from that? I mean, what's your take on it?
Oh, I have a totally different opinion of that. It's insane. You know, the whole thing. It's a mass money marketing. It's free enterprise, and that's what we do. I mean, it's all about money, and it's sad to say that, but this build, this Crown Vics we talk about, you're talking 10,000 used to be the norm. That's probably not. That's light. I'm saying 15 to umpteen thousand. Where's it going to go?
I mean, if you want to win a $10,000 derby on the national platform, you got to be ready to spend 25.
You're going to, you're going to have 10 to 20,000 in a car, and you're going to take everything you can buy, which has all been developed, built, and thought of by somebody, which to me is interesting because I want to know what other guys around the United States are thinking and how they come up with that.
Exactly.
And, it hurts. It hurts the soul knowing, but at the same time, it's an awesome feeling knowing that, I'm sitting there looking at a training brace, across the aisle here. And we did that in our dent cars back in '98, '99. I was afraid I busted a transmission completely in half. So and we call them a mid plate, I guess nowadays. I had a distributor protector, and I put a plate off the back of it, and I separated the transmission, and I shimmed the torque converter to match that.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah. And I took some round pipe and welded it straight back to the tail shaft and boxed it all in.
What was the first year that you think you ran distributor protector? Because I got my first one last year. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord. Last year. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, Lord. I'll probably give it away and build more than I can remember. But, just talking about distributor protectors, it's just funny because I know, Scott Zisselman, everybody knows Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Scott's the first one ever run a distributor protector that I knew of, ever, anywhere in the United States. And
but was it built for what it's used for now, or was he literally trying to protect the distributor?
It's absolutely to protect the distributor.
Like
Scott will have to, he has to tell you the same thing. Yeah, we're knocking caps off and this, that, and the other, and coming back through the firewall with the car, so it was a great idea for what it was designed to do, and
an even better idea for what it does now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Nowadays, if you don't own a porta power when you build a car, you're missing out.
Let's talk about the porta power for a minute. let's get into some of the details on how that works.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm getting my balls busted. Everywhere I look around, I get my balls busted. I got these guys over here, this over here. Everyone leave me alone out there.
I'll take care of you, son.
Thank you. That's what I need.
You're kind of
I
a
need
big
you
deal,
to hang out with me. No, I'm not.
They didn't know your grandpa was showing up.
Exactly. Thanks, Grant.
But no, let's not talk about that.
No, we don't want to. I can't get anybody to talk about.
We don't need to talk about aftermarket parts and stuff like that, and how we can get on the line.
What was that about? You were telling me something about preloading. What's that mean? What are you talking about? What?
That just means you buy a car that's already fixed.
Right, exactly.
They've already plated the frame. It's preloaded. Yeah, ready to go.
But it's cool to hear talk to Mike because again, he's totally opposite of what Steve was saying.
Because he's one of the guys that you want their autograph.
Oh, definitely. Dude, Mike's old school. Absolutely. I want to run one of your cars. Is really what I want to do. You got to build me one and then let me come out there and run it.
Not a problem. I'd rather build a car than drive one today. I've never been noted as, the driving type. I obviously have a reputation. It is what it is.
That's what I wanted to talk about with you, actually. I wanted to talk about that. You made me realize something last night that I don't think a lot of guys actually think about. Pete Hansen, get the hell out of here. Get out. I'm going to throw this at you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, get out of here.
It's awesome.
I didn't do it.
No, you didn't. Oh, good old Pete.
Maybe Blizzard Bash.
And you know what? Pete actually is part of this conversation because Pete, no, and I want to say about Mike because myself, I've always concentrated on driving. For whatever reason, Robbie Brown has always said to me, you got to become a good driver, got to become a good driver. It's the only thing I've ever concentrated on. And a couple weeks ago, Pete said to me that he spends hours reading through rules and breaking apart rules. Never been something I was even interested in. And you were telling me, I'm all into the build. I just want to build and think about the build. And I started thinking, I bet a lot of derby drivers don't think about this, but there's more aspects to derbying than just going out there and smashing a car. You almost have to step back and look at yourself and say, what am I not good at? And Pete had me thinking that day, man, I don't look at rules, and I'm missing one of the cardinal things of Demolition Derby. It's like, to be a great driver, you'd have to put all these things together. Well, I'm only doing one of them. I'm not looking at rules. I'm not building well. And you have to step back and get good at all of it to become a great driver.
Absolutely. I mean, there's guys like Pete that will go out of the way to pull up a set of rules and say Ohio and read our rules.
Right.
And, we build our rules for a reason because you have to almost word everything word for word what you can and can't do. And a guy from out of state that wants to compete, he looks at our rules and says, I never thought about that. Why do they have that rule?
He learns about right. Like, that's a good point.
You know,
that's a good point.
But I've always
that's a good point.
Gray area, I guess, is the key
Gray
word.
Area, that's a scary term in demolition derby world. Real scary term.
People call it cheating. Yeah, you know.
But in every sport, there always is trying to be a competitive edge. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody wants that next little edge, and that's just part of the fun of the sport. If we all weren't pushing it, we would have never learned tilting. We would have never learned distributor protectors.
Absolutely.
The gray area is the performance-enhancing drug of demolition derby.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is, though.
It is, you know.
When I call a promoter up and I'll say, hey, we need to talk about rule number so-and-so, and I said, you know, there's some gray area. Oh, they flip out. You know, what do you mean gray area? There's no gray area in my rules.
I understand exactly what that promoter's going through, because in your head you wrote that and you know exactly what you can and can't do.
Right.
You know what you want, but you put another set of eyes on it, and they're going to read what they want to read.
And I could pick any rule of any inspector of any set of rules, and there's gray area in it. Any rule. You know, he says there's no gray areas. Name one. I'll pick the most obvious. You say you're allowed a 4-point cage. You're allowed a front bar, back bar, side bar, et cetera, et cetera. Doesn't say I can't use a 12-inch cage.
Right.
There's no size limit on it. Well, I never thought about that. It says I could put a chain from my motor to the front frame. I'm allowed to weld 3 links. I'm going to go to the shipyard and I'm going to buy a 12-inch link chain.
Gigantic chain.
That's 2 inches in diameter. I tried that on Todd DeBay at Den. He wouldn't let me do it. You know,
that's a good idea.
You know, it's stupid, but you have to explain. That's what you don't want. So then you better put it in your rules. So Ohio has become that. You know,
and I think Ohio has always been where you guys are. That's been the big thing in your area forever, was picking the rules apart. And I think in our area that never, and it has lately.
It's coming a lot.
Yeah, but it never was. Fast. Guys were just building and smashing, and you know, you guys were way ahead of us on that aspect.
Well, I mean, that Midwestern influence is starting to creep in more and more, especially Total Destruction now allowing the 03s and the way Ben Host allowed the rule changes to be made so that those are allowed in their full glory, and the Imperials are being brought back. So you've got more of that influence, and with that is going to come more of the nitpicking.
Yeah.
It's going to have to. You have to.
Right.
But I mean, when you call a promoter and you ask them a question, do you ask the whole question, or do you only ask? Do you ask a secondary question, not really related to what you want to know about, and how they answer that tells you what you need to know?
Well, what I used to and what I do today is different, because obviously as soon as they figure out who they're talking to, the conversation changes totally. It's like, all right, Decker, just get to the point.
Right.
What is it you're wanting to do?
Right.
You know, I mean, I got to have somebody else call and ask something.
Right.
And they'll tell them the same thing, but he wants detailed pictures. You know, I got to take the car to his house and show him what I mean, because he knows there's a way to manipulate words, and I don't ever manipulate the words. I tell him the facts. This is what I want to do. I want to clip my 03 with an 02 clip. What do you mean? You know, that's what I want to do. You know, and it's not that simple. He wants to know exactly where you're going to clip it and how you're going to clip it and what, you know.
Now, why would you want to do something like that?
The one I had was rusted, yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
It had been in an accident. The route wasn't straight anymore.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's changed. The whole, it always changes. It's always going to change. I just don't see how it could change it much more. And every year we say that, and then you miss 6 months or you miss a year, and it's just like, I'm out 10 years.
You know, and that's such a truth. Like, I feel like if you almost took a year or 2 years off, you really
wouldn't be able to get back.
You lost 10 years.
Yeah,
you'll never get back.
Though?
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing? And I'm at the point now. I've really been thinking about selling almost all my stuff and just trying to step up to, because there's guys out there with true drive. I don't have any of that stuff, Mike. Come over to my garage. You'll see what I'm talking about. I need your help.
I call BS.
I need your help.
I've sold out like 8 times. I traded everything I had Derby related. And this is the God's truth. A boy brought a 20-foot enclosed trailer to my driveway, backed it up, opened the doors, and said, put everything in there. I'll come back and get it. He almost couldn't drag it out of the driveway. The tires were almost flat.
Jeez.
Everything, nut, bolt, leaf spring, steel, cars, parts, hoods, A-arms, everything I've owned for 20 years plus went in that trailer. And I traded it for a 69 Chevelle Super Sport 454 car. Completely done. Beautiful. Car's probably worth 40 to 50 grand today. I traded all my Derby stuff for that Chevelle and then turned around and sold the Chevelle. 2 years later, I got right back into Derby. I got 10 grand out of the Chevelle, so that tells you how long ago that's been. That car's worth 10 grand sitting as a shell.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a true
frustrating.
story.
You could derby. You could derby a Chevelle. I saw that done this year. Last year. That was that was on the cover of the magazine, wasn't it?
The Chevelle?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was a white one that you were.
Oh,
in.
that one. That was a piece of junk. That was a hunk of shit.
It wasn't quite what.
It's funny. Steve, old man Steve's talking about them. Cutlasses, Monte Carlo. That. And I know lots of guys that love that body style, but to me, those things are junk. I've never been a fan of them. I guess for stock shows they're good. But.
A friend of mine ran a 71 Monte Carlo at a county fair with a factory 402 big block in it.
Oh,
bucket seats. Oh yeah.
Them seats are $200 a pop.
The guy walked up and offered him $500 for the front bumper before he pulled on the track, and he said no.
How retarded.
So yeah, we know what happened to it within a matter of minutes, and it was a matter of minutes. It was destroyed.
Junk. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And back then, $500 was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
He didn't pay that for the car.
You certainly didn't pay that for bumpers.
No. No, definitely not.
But if I may say something, this is totally off the wall, but it's an opportunity for me to speak for a lot of old school drivers that's been in the sport for 20, 30 years, like myself or longer. This whole podcast thing that you guys are doing and where it's going, who would have thought, like you said, what's going to change?
Right.
There's
who
a
would
magazine
have
too.
thought? Exactly. This whole system and what you guys have done for the sport, and like Brett in this banquet today, it's unbelievable. No matter how can you pack in thousands and thousands of people and millions of dollars into a little arena in southern Kentucky in the middle of January?
Yeah.
But they do.
They do.
And what you guys are doing, I personally want to thank you because you sit back as you get to that point where you should quit, and you're like, I can't do this no more. I'm just dollying a car. My hands hurt so bad, carpal tunnel, both hands. I eat and I drop my fork. My wife's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I can't feed myself anymore. They don't understand beating on metal and picking up stuff and banging. And after all those years, I guess it's like a thank you. That's really, truly from my heart. I know there's a lot of drivers out there that probably tell you, but I want to take the time, since you took the time to ask me a few things about Derby and in my opinion, but I just want to say thanks for what you're doing because it's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
It really is awesome.
That means a lot from you, actually.
It's pretty cool.
That's super awesome.
We may look back 5 or 10 years and laugh about this as well. I hope not. I mean, it may be to what level, we don't know. But
Josh isn't going to be talking to me by then. He's going to be way past me.
Yeah.
I would. No, that's so cool, Mike.
You might actually have a positive rear end by then. He just got his first stripper back there last year.
Oh, jeez. Though, Mike, it's cool to
Have you ever heard of a duck bill?
A duck bill?
Yeah, have you ever heard of a duck bill? The pulley protector on the front of the...
Yeah, they call it.
Well, yeah, there's names for everything, but yeah.
Josh really wants to make that catch on up here, and
The
it's
duck
just not
bill?
working for him.
No one is starting new words. No. But it's kind of cool that, Mike, that you say that because, I've been just so hardcore derbying my whole life. And like I was saying to Steve Sr., a lot of people in my life have told me derbying's crazy and stupid. And just to see us all together and we're not crazy.
Your dad threatened to sell your cars when you were
he
at
still
school.
threatens that. My dad hated demolition derby so much, and to hear you say that some of the older guys are on board with what we're doing is just huge for us.
It's awesome.
So big for us, and I want to, when I talk, sometimes I get nervous because I think of what are the good derby because I don't really care what county fair guys are saying. And some guys I really care what they're saying, and I don't want to say dumb things. And I wondered how are true hardcore derbyers taking us, and I hope they take us the right way because we just do it because we love the sport. I mean that's virtually it.
You're right, and the bottom line is, I'll be honest with you, it's not caught on. It's you guys are just not even scratched the surface.
Exactly.
I recently just learned of it, within the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I know the guys at home aren't watching this.
Right.
I mean,
turn them on.
Yeah, we are. We're working on it, and it will grow immensely, and that's what we want.
That's what we're afraid of.
And I don't know if you guys have done it or have thought about it. Having live feed, phone conversation. People have a chance to call in to talk to the guest or ask questions.
We're working on that. That's something that we want to do, and we have a live chat function, which we don't have much going on in the live chat today. But
that's because I'm on here. As soon as I leave, everybody will be on there. Hey, what's that asshole doing?
we're still ironing
right.
out. We got to get together with Finger Lakes One. There's a few details you have to iron out in terms of the live stuff and making sure all the parts and pieces, work as smooth as they need to. But right now, this is going from here to there, and then from there to there, which means everybody at home can see it. That's what's everybody at home is watching right now.
That's
this is
incredible.
the production studio kind of thing.
But Mike, you're right. We kind of are growing as day by day. We have
no idea.
Yeah.
We have no idea how.
You don't have an idea.
We really don't. And in terms of live streaming and stuff like that, we got picked up by Derby Tees. We're going to be doing. We're working real close using this setup with Derby Tees and doing their pay-per-view stuff. And Josh and I are going to be doing the commentary. So actually now, instead of just being a static one-angle camera watching the Derby, you're going to have play-by-play and overlays like what you're looking at right now.
That's awesome.
This is, it's going to be, the ESPN equivalent of Demolition Derby. So you actually have some commentary on it, which is, we did that at Sturgis. And,
absolutely.
and we rolled the dice on that, and it worked. And that was our goal going out there was to get Josh a ride. And then beyond that was to make sure that all the podcast stuff worked, and we were successful in part of it.
Very successful, man, most of it. I wimped out. We had a small miniature blizzard, nothing compared to like what New York has to offer, but we got some bad weather, and Friday night at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, I decided I wasn't going to Sturgis. We had a carload in ticket spot. So I stayed home in my easy chair, and I did purchase the package, and I watched you live at home, and
awesome.
I was extremely impressed.
And imagine 20 years ago to think that someday we'll be derbying on pay-per-view. I couldn't even get anybody to watch it or videotape me for years. I just wanted people to videotape. I couldn't get that. And I don't think it could be on pay-per-view where lots of people could watch me. I mean,
well, most like anything new, as it comes up in the ages, we get older and we're like, man, why didn't I have that when I was a kid? And it's funny. I feel that way. I'm like, gosh, I'd give anything to be indoors in a derby in the middle of winter, and on national public. It's incredible. Just to come up here and visit with you guys, and then you guys call me over here.
So I have another question, because being famous like you are, Josh is having a hard time getting acclimated to this. So I was wondering if you could take a minute and sort of explain to him, that people just like being in your company sometimes. As a famous person yourself, you can understand how people just want to be around you and talk to you. And he's really having a hard time wrapping his head around it.
He doesn't have first of all, famous is, please find another word. That's insane. I was known for a lot of things.
Revered? Is that right?
Mike, everybody knows who you are, man. Everybody.
Well, I got that reputation, obviously. I've had, long story short, I had a friend tell me years ago, you can't build a car and slam with it, go from one end like an idiot all night long, and win.
No, you can't.
You can't do it.
No.
And I said, you're wrong. He said, you can't do it. I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I started building tougher cars than the average guy and driving like an idiot and winning. And I literally have pictures. I took 230 some odd trophies to the trash. Just got tired of dusting and cleaning.
Shut up.
Cleaned my garage. Took them all straight. Boxes.
Nuts.
My neighbor kids was fighting over them. They were on the front street, pulled them out of the trash, running home.
Mike.
The neighbors were calling me, going, "What are you doing? Giving my kid all these trophies. Now I got no place to put them." And I laughed. I said, "Exactly." So I took over 200 to the curb, and that was back in the day when I was in my prime, when I was young and I had quick responses and good reflexes. But then all that changed, with derbying, and Todd DeBay helped change me. With Den, he gives me this nickname and puts cameras in the car, says, "I want you to go out there and hit as hard as you can hit." So, what's a guy going to do? He's going to go out there and drive like an idiot. So that's where your famous thing comes from. But it was just all about putting on a show for the crowd.
Well, we had such a great time in Minnesota, and Josh, we've talked a couple times now about
Had to sign an autograph.
See, they didn't want mine. They wanted yours. You should have said, "You want my grandpa? My Papa's sitting over here."
Next one, I'll sign them together.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
But we were out there, and all these guys, they just, it was like a moth to a flame. All these guys just continuing to circle around Josh, and they're just talking, "It's so cool, it's so cool. I can't believe you're here. I can't believe." We had somebody that completely out of nowhere when we were in Kansas. At that point, we were only 3 months old with this stuff. Just came walking up out of nowhere and goes, "Aren't you Josh Decker, and he's really having a hard time accepting the fact that
It's so dumb,
the way that he looks at you is the way other people are looking at him.
They are, and he doesn't understand. And to answer your question, I mean, I didn't forget your question. Josh has no idea. You are very fortunate and lucky enough to have this position.
Met me.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
I'll agree with that.
But I told Josh the other day eating breakfast, and I was very sincere when I said this. Josh is a natural. You could talk to people in the world, and you get a general feel right away whether this guy's unintelligent, he's an idiot, his vocabulary is poor.
That's what you got from me?
No. I'm just talking. You can tell when you talk to somebody, whether you're talking to an intelligent human being or not. And then you cater the way you speak to them. And with you, you're a natural. You say the right thing at the right time, it seemingly, to every one of these shows that I've watched. And I don't believe it'll go to your head. That's what I'm trying to get with this. I've said to Josh, like you said, you don't realize how lucky you are, and everybody's coming up, and he's not taking it with the big head and like, oh, I'm Josh Decker,
I'm just some dumb country kid, Mike. At the end of the day,
that's awesome. But you're good at it. But you're good at being a dumb country kid.
But Mike, I mean, but that's what I am. That's why it's surreal to me, because all these guys know.
But you're real.
You're America's dumb country kid.
That's right. No, you're a real good dude. I mean,
thank you, sir. I appreciate.
Your head's not swollen.
Thank you.
You can only the notoriety is going to follow you, and it's going to grow, and you have to adapt with that. And people come up to me here, and they're like, shaking my hand, hey, how's it going?
Hell yeah.
And they walk away, and I hate it, and I'm like, who the hell was that? Like, I should know, but you can't. And it's insane. It makes me feel bad.
Jake's on that. Yeah. It makes me feel bad, too.
It makes me feel real bad.
Because I'm so thankful that people would even take the time to know who I am. I mean, that's...
I gotta say a little something more. This is a perfect opportunity.
Okay, go ahead.
Brett, our good friend Brett Relier, we were watching Derby tapes and Josh's name, and this whole thing came up. And I was like, really? You got any tapes of Josh? He's like, yeah, I got some in the house. So we're watching tapes. Josh is running this car, this color, this wagon, that sedan. And I'm studying this. And I know I'm meeting him for breakfast the next morning, right?
Right.
So you didn't know this was coming, did you?
No.
And I was like, so, yeah, that 67 Newport wagon you built was pretty badass. Josh was like, really? Well, which one? Remember that teal green one, How'd you know about that car? I said, oh, dude, I watched that.
You screwed with my head so much.
Oh, I kept going on and on. He was like, really? Every time I would mention a car or a Derby.
You go, oh, it's Scott Zizzleman. Scott Zizzleman, we're talking
about that at home all the time.
Oh, my God.
He was like, dude, come on, you're serious. You're really serious. Like, for the most part, I was.
Absolutely.
But I had to throw in a few cars from watching the tape the night before to make you think I knew what the hell I was talking about, even though I didn't. But I had heard of you, but not to that detail.
Of course.
How would I watch the show? We don't have,
Definitely.
I didn't order the DVD.
It was screwing with me when you knew my cars.
It was awesome. And look where it got us today.
Absolutely.
It's backfired because we were making fun, so to speak, in a very good way. And now look, you can't even walk through the airport without people, wanting your autograph. You've had your autograph signed here? I haven't had nobody ask me.
You can sign mine.
That did happen, too, in line. And it wasn't TSA. Everybody keeps assuming that it was TSA.
Well, TSA stopped me, too, but that was for a different reason.
That's awesome.
TSA checked my bags. Apparently, when you have a screwdriver, that much camera equipment, and that many extension cords in one bag, it sets off red flags. I guess they got sensitive or something.
Yeah, you're up to something. Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
Well, no, I did want to thank you guys for what you're doing. It's awesome.
Appreciate
it really is. And
Yeah,
thanks for having the time to talk to me because, it's a privilege. It really is.
Thank you, sir.
30 years is a long time to be banging on cars. So I'm glad
I'm 15 years to go.
I'm glad I'm coherent enough to be around to talk and communicate with you guys.
You haven't had enough layered concussions to be a blubbering idiot.
No, he might have.
Any more interviews, you're going to have to come to the nursing home and see me, though. They let me out this weekend. They don't know I'm going.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, and thanks a lot for coming up to the Derby Banquet up here, and I look forward to catching up with you a little bit later on after we get all this mess picked up.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go drink another beer. Thank you, guys.
You do that.
Sir.
I need your autograph, too.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
I think next in line is, and we got Jason Butts coming up.
Come on, Jason Butts, get in here.
There we go. We got the right overlay on there now. I mean, we're coming up, got about a half hour or so to go. We might cap it a little bit early because I know we got a lot going on out here, and Jason, put the headset on so you can hear us. I don't, stranger to this microphone stuff. Tell us a little. Jason Butts is the show manager for the Smash Empire Nationals in Cuba, New York. Over there, I saw you were awful busy earlier with registrations and such pouring in. How have things been?
Things are going very good. Right now, we've got about 10 entries today right here at the banquet. This morning on my way in, I stopped at the mailbox and there was 12 envelopes in there. We have about 5 or 6 teams in the Compact Border War event. We had a team here today that's interested. They're trying to make up their mind whether they're going to get in on the early entry fee or not. But overall, things are very well. The guys from Derby Dog Productions doing a very good job of answering a lot of questions. A lot of people have a lot of questions about different promoter coming in, obviously. But for the most part, we've heard all positive feedback. So,
was it hard to make the decision to go with Derby Dogs in terms of them being from out of town?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tough decision that we had to make. We thank Ken Swingle and Heavy Hitting Productions for the last 4 years of all they've done.
Right.
They've definitely helped our show grow over the last 4 years, and we can't thank them enough. And there was multiple different promoters interested in coming into Cuba. Obviously, it's one of the bigger shows in the area, and it was a hard decision. And the Ohio world is, the demolition world out there is a lot different than it is in Western New York and Central New York. So,
well, definitely, most definitely.
But we tried to keep the rules, basically what they've been for the last 5 years, and so far the response has been very well with that. There's obviously some things people want to see change, but we're doing our best.
Imperials. No. Now, real quick, you just said team event and I know last year the compact team event was awesome. I mean, those guys are driving their balls off. You have a lot more teams this year. How many did you say?
We're up to 5 right now.
And what's your process? You're going to run them all together, or are you going to try to split them up into 2 teams? What was your game plan?
Well, right now, if we stayed with 3 or 4 teams, we were going to stay the same format, everybody against each other. We've made the decision if we get 6, 7, 8, 9 teams, we might do a little Royal Rumble. We might start out with 2 people from each team, and as one of their cars gets eliminated, bring one of the newer cars in.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun.
So that's really something. Cool.
That's fun. Yeah.
Some guys are interested in. We've talked to some of the teams that are already entered, and they think they're all about it. They're been real receptive to that. There's not many compact teams.
Tag in, tag out.
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Actually, that's cool. I think the crowd would love to see something totally different that we never saw before.
Right.
That'd be cool.
And there's not, in New York and Pennsylvania, there's not many team shows around to begin with. And last year showed, people like that better than they did the World Class.
Yeah.
With one car rolling over and getting right back in and going at it again. So it was good.
So that's teams of 4.
Correct. Yeah.
And anybody can enter.
Absolutely.
Boy, that's really neat. That is really cool.
Initially, that was a bit of it was more of a border war type thing. But now, if anybody can enter at any point, it completely changes the game.
That's fun.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. We started out as we had some guys from Ohio and New York that were kind of trash talking each other in Pennsylvania, and they all got together and came to us, to Ken Swingle, and they wanted to do something against each other. So we tried it out, and last year it grew over the winter, over the summer. A lot of guys came back to us and wanted to go at it. So we're going to open it up and not limit it to just the 3 teams. That's for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. It was an excellent heat last year. It was great. I really enjoyed that one.
I like seeing that a bunch of places are trying the team thing. Like the team is kind of growing, which could be maybe be the next big thing in Demolition Derby, because all the team shows we watched have been awesome.
Right.
So why not grow it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great idea.
And we've had a lot of interest. From guys from New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Canada, even doing a team derby, whether it's the economy class or the world class, because Ohio, wherever you guys go, there's a lot of team shows, big team shows, and there's a lot of smaller county fairs and smaller shows, and our show's obviously unique for our area. So we might look at that for next year. It's something.
And you can, I mean, you guys are a bigger show. Everyone that's ever run your show always
show in
enjoyed
New
it. It's always been a great show for all the years that you've been running it. You can be a trendsetter because you got the guys coming. Everyone knows that you guys are good shit. The rules are fair. Everyone has a good time. Mind my language. But you can be a trendsetter in our area because you've already done the hard work of getting people to come to your show. Now you guys can change it as you want.
Right, absolutely. And that was, when we had to make the decision to change promoters, it was a big deal because we wanted to make sure we tried to keep the show the similar as it was before. We didn't want to just, a lot of people were curious and concerned that we were gonna let the Ohio guys come in and just make it a tank show, and that's not what we want. We
absolutely
we don't want cars to be junk when they leave Cuba. We've had several instances. I mean, we're there late loading cars because they can't get on the trailer. That's what we want. We don't want it to be they're still able to drive and just be a motor competition.
Yeah. And you want everyone to feel equal.
Fuel mileage race.
Yeah, fuel mileage. Nah.
Is this? Can you hear me? This okay? Did this mic?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised if maybe the headset has gone bad or something like that because it was in the same case as everything else that came from UPS.
No, you're good. We can hear you.
Stuff was destroyed.
Now, how many cars do you have for the economy class and mods? Are you even saying that, or
we're not disclosing that at this time.
That's cool.
A lot of guys don't want anybody to know. We are going to post pre-entries after today because the pre-entry is final after today. So we're going to post a pre-entry list of who has and who hasn't entered.
And how about a max amount of cars? Are you maxing out? I know a lot of years you've said 30 cars or 35 cars in each class. What's your game plan with that?
Nope. The only class that we're going to limit is the actual compact class. We're going to set that at 25 or 30. But as far as the limited weld, the border war, and everything, we're going to open that right up. And obviously the entry fee goes up after today. All the classes go up $50. But other than that, we're not limited to anything. That was one of the negatives we heard last year, that we limited the car count. They said, a lot of people said they would have came if they could have came. So,
well, it's tough because I get where you guys are coming from by setting in saying 35. And the best part about that is you always are getting the 35 best guys. I mean, the cars that you've been having there have been awesome. The negative of that is there's so many guys that don't know where they're going to go, or all of a sudden they find a car real quick and it's like, well, where's the first place I can take it? Cuba. But then you're full, so
right, absolutely.
I could see that.
You notice that Josh is asking a lot of questions about the economy stock division.
I got some in the yard. I've been really thinking about coming out there to it, though. I'm just my plate is so full, but we'd
love to have you now that you're famous and
right,
everything. You're like a legend now, so we'd love to have you in Cuba now.
You know what's going to happen this year? Everywhere I go, I'm going to get junked right off the bat. I'm going to get junked in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Remember Josh won 2011.
I did win a couple years.
We might have to set something up for you to do autograph session or something when you come down.
Just get me in a car, goddammit.
He had to sign a magazine when he was sitting here a minute ago.
Yeah, see,
that was for Cliff. I'll do anything for Cliff.
You're famous now.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
But I would like to run your show. When I won it the last time, you guys gave me that big check and a huge trophy, and I had a smile on my face for weeks, man. I mean, that trophy people still come to my garage like, where'd you get that trophy? And it's like, that's probably my best trophy ever was that big check you gave me,
Yeah, and that's a good point you bring up. We got a lot of stuff going on with our heavy hitter awards. We got some custom trophies being made for that. Smashed Empire Films and Designs have donated the real life size checks, the big checks that you see behind us here. We have each winner in each class is going to get one of those. The grand prize winner. So
that'll look so good on my garage wall.
Yeah,
the economy class one right there.
No, that's the
Keuka.
Yeah, that's
I'm winning that one.
Clash, but
okay, that one
hanging up over there on the wall.
Those will both look good in my garage.
Yeah, so they're full color. They look great. So
did you hear what Jason was going to do?
Well,
he said he's putting up an extra $1,000 if he can sweep the economy stock and the Keuka class. He's doing it out of his own pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. There's for the limited weld, there's people have already been photoshopping. We kind of gave a sneak peek of the trophies and the checks, and people have been photoshopping, having some fun, putting different people's names on it. So that's been kind of a back and forth deal, but it's been fun.
It really is cool, those chucks. I mean,
and they look a lot better in person.
No, they're awesome though. I mean, I can't even tell you how many people have been in my garage saying like that is so cool to have that chuck is better than a trophy to me.
I want more people to start doing that.
They're awesome.
I really want more. I mean,
and you guys took a bunch of pictures with me with it and stuff. I mean, dude, it was awesome. I had such a great day. Yeah, it was awesome, dude. Loved it.
And even today, people are like, "Do you have one for each class, just not the weld class?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's just a stock one
that's
up there."
Awesome.
You know, we have one for each class, and a lot of guys, you know, even our local guys that support our show and the economy and compacts and stuff, they'd rather have that than an actual trophy.
Absolutely.
They'd love to hang that on their living room wall. Don't think their wives would like that, but, you know, hang it in their garage, their man caves.
It makes you smile every time you see it, though. You know, it just reminds you of that day. And
absolutely.
It makes you smile.
And it reminds you how much money you took home that day.
Yes, absolutely. And spent quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the guys, the Woodbooker crew, on board, make one for the Northeast Championship.
Absolutely, should have one. $7,500. Definitely,
that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mike Decker, buy me some raffles over there. Put my name in a couple of them. I don't know if anyone's seen the raffle car out there, but god damn, Aaron Bones built some good stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty strong. No, I appreciate you guys.
So tell me again. I mean, we appreciate you guys. I mean, that's the logo that's going out to everybody. It's on all the graphics, and it was in the intro. I never heard anything back from you. How did you like the advertisement?
You know, it's been crazy. I just took a new job, and I used to be able to communicate with Chris, you know, all the time. But my new job, man, it's actually making me do some work. And I haven't been able to.
I wanted to make sure it was okay.
No, you know,
a bajillion times.
Yeah, no, I've looked at it. No, you do a great job, and I definitely give high regards to Smashed Empire crew and Chris and all they've done for our show here in Cuba. And you know, these guys are great. They're top notch, and
we try to.
You guys do a lot of great stuff, and it's just not on the day of the show. Chris does a lot of behind the scene work for me, and writes a lot of good articles for us in the Derby Inc. magazine. You know, it's another thing that kind of started in Cuba. So
yeah,
we got a good working relationship, and you've taken that and ran with it. And there's a lot of people. I have a subscription, and we're gonna buy one for the fire hall, I think, too. I'm trying to get those guys to get one so we can get it mailed to the fire hall every time too. So it's just another added incentive.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to this coming season. You know, 5th time out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first show that we've done 5 times concurrently. You know,
right.
And it was 2010 when we did it, and I was filling off a clipboard. You know,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's come a long way since then.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a couple different things. We want to get some different camera angles and stuff for you guys. So that's been discussed already.
Yeah.
So.
You know, we're always willing to try out new things, and I'm excited about going back to the heats and feature format. Pretty
yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited about that.
And in that format, just to bring that up, the first year that we had the weld class and it was heats, we impounded the people that advanced. That's something that has been talked about.
You need
again.
to do that to keep the.
I think it's fair when you go to the bigger show, Jason. It seems like that's just a norm out west, and it seems like, and I guess it just so everyone can say fair,
right?
At the end of the day,
right?
You know. And I actually like that rule because if you're done in the first heat, everyone always thinks they have a competitive edge, but take that away and everyone's fair. It doesn't matter if you pull heat 3 or 1, you're all equal.
Right, absolutely. And that's a good point. And I think that's gonna happen. The first year we did it was great. Then we just went to the one run and done deal. But I think running that and impounding cars, I think it helps. Makes things a little more fair.
Do you see a negative of it?
I don't. You never can make everybody happy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be the naysayers, but overall, I think if they sit down and really look at it, it's for the better.
Well, you know, guys will probably bitch at it until they pull heat 3, and then they'll be saying like, "Oh man, I really wish they were impounding them today." You know?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And the motors can cool down and that stuff.
Right.
They have an advantage there, but for overall, you know, fixing the equipment and you know, it doesn't give them an advantage in that point.
Well, also at Hartford when they did it, another reason I liked it because then I could go watch the heats. I wasn't working on my car. I know that sounds crazy, Chris, but I'm interested in seeing how all the other guys are building, running, driving, what their cars look at the end. Well, usually you get done, you're right on your car now on the feature. This time I could sit and watch, enjoy the Derby, then go work on my car. So that was just another aspect I liked about that.
You have to be a student of the game, Josh.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy watching the Derby. Besides just derbying, I enjoy watching it. So, you know, it let me watch the whole thing, which I enjoyed that.
Work on the cars, buy a video later.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
You know me, I'm lazy. Vern works on my cars for me.
That's how you know you've made it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, you're a celebrity now, so you should probably just be able to show up.
I wish.
You know,
I hope to
you just-
God someday that happens.
Every place you go, you know, somebody just here's
the car.
here's the keys
I
to the
hope.
car.
I hope
Bring your suit.
that would be a dream, man.
It did happen though, Josh. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then you did place, so that's even better.
I was so lucky, Jason.
That doesn't matter. Luck is all part of Demolition Derby.
And that is true. Brett Relier taught me that.
Better to be lucky than good.
Yeah,
About luck. No, it's all right, Terry. He knows he's the luckiest man ever.
absolutely. Yeah. But no, the guys from Derby Dog, they just want to apologize to everybody for not being able to make it out here today. They had a close death in the family, family friend, and so they're dealing with that this weekend. They're really hoping to be out here and be able to do this podcast and stuff, but one of their close friends passed away this week, so they're taking care of that back at home.
Absolutely.
So that's more important. So
I think Terry just informed that there's over 300 people here.
that's awesome.
It's packed in here, man.
The first year I came here, man, there was like 100 people.
I think Brett said like 70.
Is it? Yeah, I guess 100.
Brett said every year it's just gone up almost by doubling. You know, it was like 60 or 70, like 120. Then it was like 200. Now we're almost up. I mean, how cool is this?
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
There's people here from Virginia. I think that's just the coolest thing. Ohio's represented, Massachusetts, Vermont, New
Right,
York,
absolutely.
Pennsylvania.
And that's a cool part about it in Cuba. We have people from Massachusetts, Vermont, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Canada. You don't get that very often.
As much as you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's actually centrally located when you're trying to get Derby guys, because you get your East Coast guys, you can get the guys from the north, you can get the guys from my area, you can get the Pennsylvania guys. You're actually not that bad of an area.
Right. There's no easy way to get to Cuba
you just
from
gotta
Pennsylvania.
drive and drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to the Woodburger guys that drive all the way out from Massachusetts to support us every year. That's awesome
to see them. Jen's here.
Yeah, I've talked to them, and I talked to Jim and them on the phone this morning, actually, because they were apologizing they weren't coming out. But, yeah, they plan on coming out, too. So I've got their registration and entry form, so we're good to go there.
Awesome. Well, Jason, I think we're about 15 minutes away from wrapping up. We got to
get Terry on real quick.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So I appreciate it, dude.
Hey, thanks, guys. We'll be looking for that entry form, Mr. Decker.
How much is it?
Are you going to pay it for me?
Well, I mean, you're a celebrity and all, but man.
Absolutely
not. How much is the entry for
the Weld class is $100 today. It goes up to $150 after today. All the other classes are $50, and they go up as well. But it includes a pit pass.
And for anyone that's never been there, Cuba is just such a fun day. It's the beginning of the year. It's one of the first derbies of the year, and everyone's amped up, and it just is a good environment. It always is.
Absolutely. And we're gonna have a band after the demo this year again, like we did last year.
Perfect.
We normally do a camp. A lot of people camp in town on Friday.
Yep.
Stand around a campfire, have some beers, but make it a weekend for sure.
Definitely. Cool.
Thanks again, dude.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Go.
Gully, I got a couple bottles in my truck if you want to go get them. Mine's real.
Terry.
Okay, then let me try it. I think mine's Kentucky. Mine's Kentucky.
And yep, you're on. You got to get right up on that microphone too, so everybody can hear you. That way, everybody can hear you. Jump right on there. And the organizer of this phenomenal event,
and the best girl derby driver I know.
Yeah, okay.
You are.
Oh, Terry's a past Waterloo champion.
That is true.
Only second place.
Second place. Yeah, you're a champion in our eyes.
Just first of all, thanks a lot for having us out here today. We're having a great time. We got to chat with Mike Decker a little bit earlier, and then Jason Butts. This is outstanding. Are you at least happy with the turnout?
I am very happy. Last year we had 213, and now we're over 300.
Awesome.
That's great.
So cool.
I mean, that's a lot of walk-ups too, because the numbers we were talking about before weren't even quite that high.
Yeah. We were at 265, and not including any walk-ins.
I mean, looking at what this event has become, it's pretty much a staple. You have to do it again, and now we're. Are you outgrowing this place?
We will be. This year, I think, will be our last year here unless we can figure out something different.
Yeah.
Because the max room is like 325.
Wow.
That's so cool, though. That's so cool. I mean, I remember the first year. I remember the first year, and just to see it blow up is so great. It's awesome.
I'm very satisfied. I never thought I would be here after 6 years.
No, that's cool.
What was the hardest part of all this? I mean, what have you come across as being difficult?
I think the RSVPing. I think getting people to pay ahead so we know the total number so they have a plate of food when they sit down for dinner. Because now that we're over 300, the chef is going to be scrambling for some food.
Right. That's all right, though. I mean,
no, it's okay, but it's just if they would RSVP, when they send in their money, they would be guaranteed a plate of food. But the walk-ins are great too. The weather's not the greatest, but it was better than last year.
Now, Brett was telling me that after the after party tonight, we're all going to your house. Is that I'm crashing on your floor. I don't know if you know.
Oh, there's plenty of room. We've got 64 feet times 2, so we've got plenty of room. I don't know how comfortable it'll be, but
that's all right. I'll sleep on the floor. I'm fine with that.
There you go. The dogs will keep you.
Actually, I'll sleep in the garage. Your garage is nice and cozy.
There's probably a car in there.
Exactly what I was thinking.
You might get some cushion out there.
Well, I mean, we're just glad. I know you got tons going on today, and we got about 10 minutes left. Is there anybody that you wanted to mention or thank for helping you out in terms of making today go off?
There's so many people I want to thank. I want to thank you for being here for streaming this. My husband Brett, Jessica for the vendors, Carrie Torres, which is Benjamin's girlfriend, for the registration. Everybody and anybody that comes out and supports it and comes and enjoys it and have a good time.
Well, it is an awesome event. If you haven't been here live, you have to make sure that you're here for it next year. You got to get here. We're not sure where it's going to be, but you got to be here for it.
Definitely.
And hopefully, it's if it's possible to have it here again, due to the number of people, it'd be outstanding. Everybody knows where it is. It's in a great location for the folks coming up from Pennsylvania, and it's becoming one of those can't miss events. The different drivers that are here and the miles that were traveled for everybody to be part of this is very impressive. So we want everybody to continue to come out and support the banquet.
And we haven't even talked about, Chris, at all today, that if you go outside of here and you go look outside, every kind of part you can imagine, there's got to be 40 cars here. It's like a derby, man. There's Imperials, boxcars, there's everything here. New Yorkers, Newports, Electras. They're all outside in the parking lot on trailers. You want something, go outside and buy it. It's here.
It's your candy shop, Josh.
Oh, my gosh. I'm in love with it here. I love it here. You know that.
If you can't have a derby, at least you can have derby cars.
I've been pushing that. I told Brett next year, just let us all just take them out there and smash them in we'll go to your house and do it.
Oh, yeah. Why is it always my house?
Your house is fun. Your house is fun. There's
why can't we go to your house?
A lot to do over there.
It's right.
It's just down here.
We didn't want to blow everybody out.
Bunce, he's right there. Aaron Bunce is right there in that black sweatshirt. Aaron Bunce, turn around. Take your finger out of your ear. Aaron Bunce. Aaron Bunce built an awesome car. That's a raffle car today. I would kill for that thing. I mean, it is just so well built inside and out, and Bunce always builds great stuff. You look at Aaron Bunce, though, and you don't say, like, that guy is a tough derby guy. Do you, Terry? I don't either.
No, he's very quiet. Well, he appears very quiet.
He's a great guy. I love Aaron.
Yeah. I'm just kind of looking at the clock and looking at. I know there's a lot of hungry folks hanging around, and
it's about drinking
get all this stuff picked up and out of the way. But once again, thank you so much for having us out here. We had a great time, and I think we're going to pretty much put a cap in this one.
Thanks
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Terry.
So, Josh, I think we covered all of our bases. We've talked to everybody that we wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
There's a gazillion.
We could talk all. We could sit. Actually, I could pull people in here all day that have great stories. There's great stories going on. I mean, you're just looking around this room. We're packed in here. We're in the entry room here. Just everyone's laughing, having a good time, and there's guys from every single area, everywhere.
Every base is covered at this point.
It's so cool. It's got Walt's got a table here just full of parts, and the parts are just coming off. I mean, guys are taking everything out the door, everything,
which is good.
It's just a great time today. I can't even wait. And we haven't even got into the drinking yet, which is the fun part.
That's your favorite part.
I gotta go out to the truck, get some shine.
Here's a headset for you. We're just about.
Hey, Brian, get on here, and we're done.
Holy cow, dude! Can you step out for a few minutes? And I'm never invited back. That's great, man. I guess I know where I rate.
Oh, dude, we've had great people on.
Same thing would have happened to Josh.
Hey, not for nothing, but I've been saying I know Josh Decker, and people have been paying me to get autographs later. So, so far it's pretty cool.
I've signed at least like 6 or 7 already today, and I haven't even got out to the public yet.
Did you get a Valentine's Day card from Melissa?
Melissa,
Peyton's mom.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, did you?
Yes, I did. Very awesome.
I did.
Pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yes, I appreciate that.
I let her know that I wore the shirt Monday on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I've met just met Sean Gulkenauer. I've been shooting the breeze with him. Dan Bolton.
Yep. Dan Bolton's funny stuff.
And it's people are very impressed, and he doesn't want to hear it, but I just keep giving the kudos to Chris Marquardt because, without him, we wouldn't be doing this, obviously. So.
Virtually every time someone says Josh Decker, they virtually should be saying Chris Marquardt.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
We're just lucky enough to be along for the ride, man.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I'm nobody without him. It's a good guy.
Mr. Decker, I saw you got some new
trophy. I'm going to put it on my showcase. I think it's funny.
Are the kids going to be impressed with that one as they were
No,
with
my
the...
kid will say, like, I don't think that's funny.
It's not the same as the Minnesota one, is it?
You know what's going to be awesome is when he takes that outside and smashes it with a hammer in your garage. You're going to be like, yeah, that's my boy.
I'll be fine with that.
So how'd everything go with Mr. Bucknam? You guys get everything straightened out, and is there a lot of love?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll take it as love.
All right.
I'll take it as love.
He intended it as love.
Yeah, he intended it as love.
He just said that the real Derby drivers don't need a welder.
All right.
He did say that,
Brett did want
I'll drink with you. I got my drinking lines are adding up here. I'm gonna have to. I'm coming.
I know Brett wanted to know if they were going to pay in cash or a check. That was Brett Relier's biggest concern was cash or check.
He's a cash man for sure.
So how's it going, guys? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah,
Looks like you guys have had a pretty steady...
You take your headphones off, it is loud in here.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Dude, you know what we didn't talk about over there on that table over there? They have, you can vote. Anybody that comes in through the line can vote. Most aggressive of the year, sandbagger of the year, which I said, there's no reason to even have sandbagger of the year. Mark Benjamin's going to win that his entire life. I mean, he's the one that started sandbagging, but there's so many cool things that's going on. I know they're giving away stuff today. And
wait a minute, didn't
it's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Didn't Steve Bucknam coin the term sandbagging at that first derby you went to with Henry Ford and John Edsel?
Yeah, it's funny stuff.
All right, I was just checking.
Donnie Hartzell. There's so many awesome people here today. I can't wait to get out here.
I think we should start packing everything up.
Yeah.
And go with them.
Wait a
Shut
minute.
it down.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you think we should try to get Jake Doyle over here?
I don't think he wants to.
I know he doesn't, but do you think we should try it?
Actually, we got 4 minutes left.
All right, never mind.
Just about maxed on what we got for space anyway. So I think we're going to call it a day. Exciting day here at the annual Derby Banquet, Owego Treadway in Owego, New York. It was a good time. Got a chance to talk with Steve Bucknam Sr., Mike Decker. Got a chance to chat with Jason Butts, Terry Relia, who put the whole show together. Really good time. Thanks for Brian for coming out and gave up your seat. Didn't mean for it to go that way, but one of those things. That's what happened to Josh when we had Melissa on the show in
whatever
Minnesota.
I can do to help out, man. And if it's getting up and walking away and buying drinks, I'm fine with that.
There you go.
You didn't buy me one.
You said you didn't want one, Sally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Yeah. So there.
I offered Chris a gin. He said not yet.
No,
it's early.
Any of that stuff. It's
lunchtime.
early to be doing that, guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course Derby podcast, live from the Owego Banquet. Thanks for joining us.
Jam sucks. Jam sucks.
Come on.
So I think we're okay. I think so. And if not, we did it live.
Talk about cheating, and here he comes. Hey, does anybody know what time they're serving food? Oh, dude, I'm going to Wendy's. Dude, I'm not making it another hour. I haven't ate today.